Your turn.
Well, sports fans, welcome back to another live. I'm your host, Joe Man,
I'm Rush.
and this is the Sir That Sports TV, the place you guys come to get the best, most interesting, riveting, and hot sports topics, discussions, and debates on the whole internet.
Yes, people. So as you know, a lot of the reggae boys and girls, followers know, there's a big debate going on. You know, some people are for a quota, some people are against a quota in the national program. So we're here to discuss it tonight. We want to know why do they want that? Does it make any sense? And give our opinions on the topic. You know, so yeah, bro. Ready for get tonight? See a couple people
Yeah,
there already.
yeah, man. We had to chime in on this. Obviously, we did a few videos about it throughout the week.
Yeah.
Reacting to Ryan's live, and people after this live, go and go check out that live because it was a very very hot one. But we just did say, yo, we have to chime in on the debate. We have to allow the people them for really really get into our thoughts. Cause we saw some comments and we agreed with a lot. We disagreed with a few as well.
Yeah.
So I just didn't want bring this to the people then.
Yeah, bro, but for start the conversation, why you think people advocate for a quota? Let's start there. Let's start with the reason first before we even give our opinion. Pundit said quota.
But first of all, big up Kima, Kima there I support the thing same way. You see me?
Give thanks, my G.
But yeah, why are it say I want to play devil's advocate essentially?
Just make sense of it. Why?
Because right out the bat, I am clearly against it in any facet or form. Right? Just a disclaimer.
Mhm.
I'm guessing that the main thing that I've seen is the quota system will allow the development of our local talent, right? Of our quote unquote
That's the reason.
Jamaican talent. So I
That's,
think that's the reason why a lot of people would advocate for the
and,
quota
and
system.
and and let's say anybody in the comment section, anybody watching right now, let us know. If you're for a quota system, tell us in the comment section and tell us why you are for a quota system. Let help us to understand because I'm baffled. I really don't understand it. So the one reason you can think of is to develop our local football. That's I think. So the reasoning is if more local players are in the national team, we will have a better league. Is that it?
I'm not even. I'm
Like
not even
what is the line of reasoning? That's what
No,
I'm
I
trying.
think I think people are saying if local talent gets into the national team, them playing in the national team will develop them. I think that's the situation.
So we'll develop players.
Apparently,
Wow. And what you think about that?
all
Straight up.
right. Personally, I I don't believe that a quota system should come anywhere near any one of our national teams. Because I've heard some people saying, oh, quota for the youth team, no quota for the senior team. Some people saying quota for the senior team. And I just want to stay far from the quota, period. You get what I'm trying to say? I don't want to
Yeah.
see any quota system, none at all. The reason why I am completely in opposition of the quota system is because, first and foremost, I was born in Jamaica. I was born at the University of West Indies, right?
Yeah.
And then you might have an ex-person who is born in London, somebody who's born in California. I don't believe that because I was born on the island makes me any more Jamaican than somebody born to Jamaican parents off the island. So, you saying you want to develop Jamaican talent. I think an English born Jamaican is just as much a Jamaican talent as I would have been had I been of the earth to play football for the country.
Mhm. So don't you think that's an insult to the people born off the island? They don't choose where they where they which hospital their parents went to when there was when they were to be conceived. Like their parents were going into labor, they don't get to choose which hospital they're supposed to go to. Like, so why isn't that an insult to them? That's a question I have in my mind. Like, cause if I was a Jamaican born in Sweden, and you're
Mhm.
telling me I'm less Jamaican than someone born on the island, I feel like that would be an insult to me.
Because we've seen it, we've heard, for example, Emil Smith, right? Talk about his culture, talk about his favorite food, curry goat, and his favorite type of music. We've heard people talk part of Emil Smith, and he understands it perfectly well. And that's Emil Smith, who is currently an English international now, but he was eligible to play for Jamaica. And we've heard the same from Demari Gray, so on and so forth,
Yeah.
right? In the 80s and the 70s, the 90s, the early 2000s, when people would have left the country for a quote unquote better life. Because we can agree that opportunities are far more vast in foreign lands, right? I think that's clear
Right.
for probably not as educated, not as qualified individual who might have made a step to get to make a better life for their family overseas.
For
And
sure.
in successfully doing so, ended up getting a family. You know, you go to America, you fall in love, you meet somebody, you have a child.
And if you're not fall in love,
Yeah, you
you
have a
carry
child,
on.
you have a child and you are still Jamaican, right at the very core. And your
Yeah.
child comes and your child at any point decide that, oh, I want to embrace that side of my culture for whatever reason, or I want to embrace my Jamaican culture. Why do you think? Why are we giving people a hard time for wanting to embrace them culture? As in, we are ostracize people, yo. Maybe Katarock says something like apartheid. Like it's very comparable. Obviously, that's an extreme comparison, but
Yeah.
you can see the similarities. You can see how he likens it to the apartheid.
And an opinion I have is I feel I'm going to say it right now on the live. I feel like instead of, you know, bashing them or turning them away, calling them less of a Jamaican, I feel like we should embrace the fact that we have a lot of Jamaicans all over the world. I feel like we should embrace the fact that a small island, you know, a little island in the Caribbean, is able to have people eligible to play for us from England, from America, from Germany, from all over the world. You know, that's just a testament to how powerful Jamaica is, you know,
Yeah.
how influential Jamaica is, and just how, you know, good at everything the people in the country are. So why don't we embrace that and just be willing to accept the fact that yes, we are a people that are all over the place? Because I will tell you, probably places like some of the other islands along the Lesser Antilles would love to have internationals in England, would love to have a big diaspora in America or anywhere else in the world. They would love to be able to choose. They'd
Yeah.
love to be able to choose, but we have the opportunity to choose. But at the same time, we're trying to find a problem internally.
And
And it's
I'd go as far as to say members of the Dutch Antilles, you know, the Curacao and Bonaires and other Dutch colonies, such as Suriname or former Dutch colonies, current Dutch colonies, former Dutch colonies, have fully embraced their international heritage.
yeah,
They have fully embraced it. Where we see Curacao and Suriname fielding team with dual national, it's not even an issue. They're
yeah,
like, oh, good, we have some ballers who want to play for us, who want to wear the shirt, who genuinely apply for the passport, and come here saying, oh, we want to play football for this country and embrace them like their own. So why is it only in a country like Jamaica we can say
yeah. Another question I have. Come here, raise all of the question. I'm more talk about it live instead of recording.
that?
Why do we only see this in the men's team? Because I was going through the females team. I'm going through the female team earlier. Let's go through it. We're going to name the Jamaican born players
Yeah.
in the female team, right? Let's do it. So Rebecca Spencer was born in England, Tierney
Mhm.
Wiltshire in America, the Swaby
Yeah.
sisters in America, Sasha Anna Campbell, Jamaica. That's one Jamaican so far.
Mhm.
Marla Sweatman, America. Chinelu Asha, America. Trudy Carter, Jamaica. That's two
Mhm.
Jamaicans.
Yeah.
Jody Brown, Jamaica. That's three Jamaicans. Bonnie Shaw, four Jamaicans. Tiffany Cameron was born in Canada.
Yep.
Let's go to the bench. Kiki was born in America. Paige Bailey Gale was born in England. Vian Sampson, England. Courtney Douglas, Jamaica. That's five Jamaicans. Kayla McCoy, America, I think.
Yeah.
Sade was born in America.
Mhm.
Michaela Days was born in Canada. Mira Gray was born in Canada. Yasmin James in Canada. Sydney Snyder, Jamaica. We have five Jamaicans of the match day squad. Our five born.
Sydney Snyder, American.
Sydney Snyder is American.
Yeah.
She was born in America. Now
Yeah.
we have five Jamaican born Jamaicans, if that makes any sense, in our female squad. Yet still we don't hear about anybody talking about developing the Jamaican talent among females in the country. I don't hear anybody complaining, saying that we have too much overseas based players in the female team and we want to
Yeah.
develop Jamaica football.
I was watching the U17s, and yes, there's quite a number of Jamaican born players in there, but we still had our fair share of international based players in the U17s.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, you can see the disparity in quality. The last names that we can't pronounce, those are the names that stood out. You know what I'm trying to say? In addition to a few standout Jamaican players. All right, let's hear where.
Yeah. So he said, I don't think there should be any quota, but it's hard to compare men and ladies because we don't have a ladies league in Jamaica, and that's the point. We are saying, oh, we need a quota on the national team so that we can develop, talent in Jamaica. Wouldn't that be the same logic to develop the talent in Jamaica on the female side? If it would develop on the men's side, why wouldn't it develop the female also? Use that tactic across the board to develop the football in Jamaica. But we should not, let's not forget, the responsibility of the national team is not to develop anybody. Yes, the JFF has that responsibility to develop the football in the country. The schools have that responsibility. CASAFA, like the
The
lesser
club.
bodies should be responsible for developing their talent. Cavaliers should be responsible for developing their own talent. Like
Yeah.
Arnett Garden should be responsible for developing their own talent, not the national team. So let's not go with that narrative, because if you're gonna do that, then it's hypocritical, it's unfair to say that for the men and not for the women. I feel like the real issue here is a money problem. I'm why you address that.
No, but even before I adjust that, fine. If they say the national team is responsible for developing Jamaican talent, right? So that means it's only responsible for developing the Jamaican talent within Jamaica. So what
Mm.
about developing the Jamaican talent outside of Jamaica? Since as a national team is for developing talent, then why not develop a Kida Taylor Hart or a Omar Hutchinson? Yeah, like why
Uh,
not develop a player outside of the country? I don't understand if we're responsible for developing. At the end of the day,
pause.
when we
Pause.
all yeah.
Let's go through some comments and then you pick up where I say. I also want to add to that. So Teddy Lee said, I'm pro quota for the youths. Teddy Lee also said comparing female to men's football is foolish. Um Toffee Rudy says the quota should only be used for under 17 to develop the youth. Go for it, bro. Because I have a lot to say in terms of this.
Yeah, I am alive. You're right. That's exactly what I was saying. But I will address those comments. Rush, I am against the quota for any age group.
It doesn't make any sense, bro. Like,
No, because all right. So they said the national team is for exposure. The national team should
it is
not be
not
for
for
exposure.
exposure. Bro,
We're,
I
we're
feel like
trying to go to the World Cup.
I
We're
feel like
trying to first
there's a
we're
big
trying to go to the
misunderstanding
World
here.
Cup. Then we're trying to go to the second round of the World Cup. Then one day we want to be in the semi-final of the World Cup. Then one day, God willing, want to win in the World Cup. I'm correct. It might not be in our lifetime or our children's lifetime and so on and so forth. But that's
Or
where
it
we
may
want.
not be ever. It may not be ever, but that's the
Yeah,
goal.
that's where we want to get to. Correct.
Yeah.
How are we going to get there if we're using the national team to expose players? Our national team should be where players who are already exposed come into and play and represent our country and allow us to try to win the World Cup one day.
Let me piggyback off that. So he said the national team is for exposure. Another person said for development. Because there's a big misunderstanding. The national team is not to develop people or to expose people. The national team is for the already developed and the already exposed. Exposed is not an incentive. It's not a pathway to anything. It's a reward for
Rush,
doing well.
Rush, he make a comment. He said the national team exposed Bibi and many others. I can tell you that Ricardo Gardner, at 18 years old, was the best right back Jamaica had to offer that was willing to play for Jamaica, whether yard or abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Left back, sorry, my apologies, left back. I can tell you that at that age, regardless of what Jamaica had to offer, he was the best. Just like how for the longest while, no matter which foreign player in the pool, Kemal Lawrence is still the best, regardless of which English-based player is there.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Kemal Lawrence at his peak, none of the other left backs from England, the Amari Bell, them, the Gregory, them, so on and so forth, them still not good like how Kemal Lawrence did good at him peak. You get what I'm trying to say, Rush?
Yeah.
When Kemal Lawrence was our top
All
left.
right. Hear the hypocrisy in this now. So Teddy Lee, I will have a respectful conversation. Come on, I really want to understand what people think. I'm on them
Yeah,
to
so, all right,
repeat, right?
him said
Hold
me
on,
go to the first room place, of course. I'm with a
hold
love
on.
my father tell me about this all the time.
Even remember what did I say? Go on, continue.
No, because him said when Bibi come on, I think Bibi came on because we suffered an injury to our current left back, right? And after Ricardo Gardner play a couple games, there was no coming back at that point. I can't remember the name of the person he replaced. But after Ricardo Gardner came back, you get me saying prove himself. At
Yeah,
that point, Ricardo Gardner was the best left back Jamaica had to offer.
yeah,
Because I'm not saying foreign players must be in the program because I'm not care who when Kemar Lawrence a couple years ago play at his peak of his powers. No foreign based player couldn't come take Kemar Lawrence game. You get what I'm trying to say? Shamar Nicholson is one of the best Jamaican players right now. And he's more than Jamaican.
Hear the hypocrisy in the argument of developing the youths, using the national team to develop the youths. Hear the hypocrisy of it. So remember, Jamaicans are not only in Jamaica, but
Yeah.
you want us to only focus on the ones that are in Jamaica and not the ones that are outside of Jamaica. Remember, there are what 8 million people that are Jamaican and only like 3 million inside of the country. So let's forget about the other 5. Why? Why? Just because they're on the island? What puts them, higher in the priority list than Jamaicans born elsewhere? I don't like you have to explain that first before you say why we should develop them. Because then if you explain it to me, then I'd understand and say, all right, we need to put a focus on them. But why do we need to focus on the Jamaicans only in Jamaica and not the ones outside? If you want to develop the 17-year-old from Kingston College, why don't you want to develop the 17-year-old from anywhere else in the world?
That's
It's just as Jamaican.
that's literally my saying because I keep bringing it back to the point that our national team cannot be a vehicle for bus people. It cannot be, bro. We want the best 23 people out there so we can go to the World Cup and then one day win the World Cup. God knows, I might sound madness. Obviously, I'm exaggerating.
Yeah,
But we need the best 23 out there to qualify us for the World Cup and to do as well as we can do in the World Cup. You get what I'm trying to say, bro? It
yeah.
can't be for bust the youth. Like when Bibi there play, Bibi never get a bus, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Bibi never get a bus.
It was well earned. It was deserved.
Bibi did ready.
Yeah,
I never know boss Bibi get. So we can't have boss people when they're ready.
yeah. And we want to expose them for what? For them go playing at the USL or for them playing at the CPL? What are we trying to expose them to? Because we're yes, they are the one-offs where we achieve something internationally. And remember, we did achieve something for, if you have to say Baby getting boss,
Yeah.
achieve something first before Baby getting boss, not just put him in the team. So we put in Richard King in the team, just calling a name because I think
Yeah.
Richard King deserves to be in the team. But let's say he didn't deserve to be in the team, and we force Richard King into the team, then we slump out at World Cup qualifying. Who see him and who care if we don't achieve anything? So it's not necessarily about them just getting caps. That's not what it's about. I feel like the argument here is for people in Jamaica to line their pockets. So that's why I want somebody in the comment section, the proprietors for the quota.
No, but all right. So Teddy Lee said we need a phone line. See?
Yeah.
Teddy Lee, as I said, follow us on Instagram and send us a message,
But,
and we'll send a link for you join for a little bit and come explain yourself more articulately.
I feel like my good post the link in the comment section.
How we are going to moderate? Because we don't want too many people on the
No,
same
we
time.
still can't accept it. We accept it. It's good, man. Go and talk to them and sort it out.
All right, so yeah, Teddy Lee. We see you. Come on, we hear your point. We're going to bring you on and make your express your 2 cents. Because we want to talk. We disagree with you, but we want to hear exactly what you say.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
O'Neil Johnson. We need to have a quota system for the governing board. Maybe that, for a second I did not know that's where he was going, Rush. Maybe that will help to weed out the bad governance. Hopefully, individuals on the board can be held accountable just as much as players. Right? Quota system. Only sensible people in the GFF. You get me? I say, like how them say, certain amount of dual nationals. Yeah, man, we have to have a certain amount of sensible people in the governing body of the GFF.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that quota system. Big up, O'Neil Johnson. 100% agree.
Bro, I'm still waiting on like more somebody explain to me what makes a Jamaican inside of Jamaica more Jamaican than somebody that was born off the island to Jamaican parents. I'm still waiting for somebody to explain that to me.
I must say, tell Lee, forward and make your point, tell Lee, because I'm going to tell you why I don't believe a quota system at any age group makes any sense. And I don't believe the national team for a bus baller. It cannot be. The Richard King is not no boss, bro. Richard King is one of Jamaica's best available central defenders.
Yeah.
Like I think Richard King earned him right on the team, based on how good he is.
All right. Here's a comment that I feel like. I read the first line. I'm gonna show where I go with it, but let's finish and see if I agree.
Yeah.
The JFF needs a youth development league or a system in order to develop the youth. The USA already have youth programs. ODP is a great program in the US.
Mm-hmm.
We can get our overseas youth from those programs. I think I agree with this. And I feel like, yes, it is the responsibility of the JFF to develop the local talent, but it is not the responsibility of the national team. And that's two
Yeah.
different things. The national team and the JFF is not the same thing. The national team is under the JFF, and it's one of their responsibilities to
Yeah, all
compete.
right.
So the JFF should delegate and say, all right, Kasafa, this is what you need to do. You need to have this amount of camps with the best players. You need to have these skill sets. You need to have this type of tactics. You need to employ this formation. That the JFF need to delegate that to Kasafa. Kasafa need to delegate that to the clubs. I develop football. One of my opinions that I will stand by, and something was added to it yesterday while we were recording a video. I feel like Jamaica should have a developmental league and not just a competitive league. And maybe after a few years, they go back to competing, because I feel like us trying to compete is killing the development. Even in the schools too, bro. Like, just wanting to win the Manning Cup and training for 6 months out of the 12, that's not helping the youth to develop. And then wait again until someone to train. So, people, hit the link in the that's pinned in the comment section and come reason with it. Help us to understand why you are for a quota, and especially because first we have to find out why the quota is needed, and then we have to discuss the quota. You see me? So hit the link, Teddy Lee, forward. Are you may wait for still? More here.
Yeah, man. Forward na Teddy Lee.
All
Hear what
right.
you ask.
I'm gonna go through some comments, bro.
All right.
O'Neil Johnson, bless up on the information and drive for a better ball.
Yeah.
Teddy Lee again. Any team under 13 FIFA ranking will find it hard to sell players.
Which is
But
exactly why we can't boss people in the national team. You get what I'm trying to say, bro? That is the reason why we can't be bossing players in the national team. We cannot be having Nicholas Nelson playing over Jamal Lowe. Because, all right, so him say for the youths, fine. If I can see him adjust for the youth, not the senior team. I can address this. If we had a Killer Taylor in our under 17 program, and while him play under back there when he was under 17, and while him play under 17 for it, we give him caps in couple Nation League competition, probably carry him in our Gold Cup squad, give him 3 caps. Him captain to a country. Have him in the under 17 program. That is a surefire talent at 21, bro. I would do the same with a whole heap of set of ballers, as compared to we keep them out of junior program because of the quota in our youth program, and then come try and bring them back in the senior program when they're 24, 25, 26, because there's no quota in the senior program. We can't have a quota from at any age, because we need them from them 14 and 13. We need them from them 14 and 13. You get what I'm trying to say?
See this again. All right. If Judge say if we bring in overseas players, if we bring in all overseas players in the youth system, how will local get exposure? Bro, why are the local players more important than the overseas-based Jamaicans? They are still Jamaicans. Does it matter where they live?
So if they're playing for Jamaica at 14 years old, correct? They will still matriculate to the national senior team, just like a local players playing Jamaica.
Maybe there's something that I'm missing from them saying local or overseas. I don't get why somebody living in Jamaica is any more important than a Jamaican living outside. Like, I still try to put that through my head. I still try to get it in my head.
Important to me. So for example, Rush, and I'm going to why them have to be more important? All right, you know what, Rush, I migrate tomorrow.
Yeah.
I find a nice white girl, and I have a child with her, right?
Yeah.
Because of a quota system, my child will not be able to come play, or might have a harder chance to come play at the youth level.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, when we did say England or America a while ago.
America.
My child will have the biggest Yankee accent in the whole world, bro.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. I'm gonna love burger and them thing there.
Yeah.
And hockey and American football.
Yeah.
But you're gonna be a baller.
All right. Hold on. I see 2 comments already. Give me a second. I'm gonna put them up. Teddy Lee said local have to be more important. Bro, you can't just say that. We are with a reason. Remember, respectful reason. We're not arguing.
Why? Link and forward, come tell him and Teddy Lee.
Why? Why is is me being a Jamaican and me migrate to America, Canada, New Zealand, all the moon. If me go marry a girl somewhere and get her pregnant or have a kid outside of Jamaica, why am I more Jamaican than my kid? You see how that sounds weird? Especially, not even especially. Say my wife are Jamaican too. And the two of
That's
we,
the,
and the two of we go up on the moon go have a kid. How
that's
come me
the,
and my wife more Jamaican than the kid? That literally don't make no sense to me. I mean, need somebody to come explain it.
yeah, man. So back to the point. Back to the point that I'm saying right there, bro. I have my kid with the biggest Yankee accent, as I say, love burger and rare steak. You get me? I say,
Yeah,
as
mutton
American
and
as
steak
can
and
be.
everything there.
Yeah, but he want to play ball, and because it's my kid, he's going to play ball for the Wrecking Boys, and there's no argument about that.
All right.
That 15-year-old is a baller.
Mm-hmm. Teddy Lee say you have to be more important than your kid. How am I? Oh,
More
I'm
Jamaican.
Jamaican. Me have a passport. I'm a passport.
And me apply for a passport for my youth.
My passport is close to me. Me have a
Yeah.
passport. My youth have a passport. Them look
Mm-hmm.
exactly the same.
Yeah.
The things are Jamaican.
The
Like
only
when him
thing you
got
have a next one. That's
him
the
have a
only
next one,
difference.
right? But him choose to play for Jamaica. The two of we have the same passport. Why am I more important than the youth? Why am I more Jamaican than the youth? Like, and Teddy Lee, my area I say, but bro, you have to explain it to me. Me get it. My head tough, bro. All right, I'm read some more comments that we have to accept. Somebody we are tuning into the show. I am alive. All I can say, if our league develop the right way, we don't have to fight to send players to Europe. We love short, cut, and quick fix. Good point. Tennessee Lewis, big up stars. Yeah, big up my
Make
boss.
the league develop, and then the league can good enough for play for the senior team. The senior team cannot be busting players, because I hear somebody say, not even the senior team, no football team at all. Because if we did have, imagine if we had the likes of Michael and Tony from he was a 15-year-old. You know what I'm trying to say? Bobby Reed from he was 15 years old. And those players were playing together from unders, come straight up to the senior team, bro. How many World Cups would you have qualified for?
Right?
Think about it.
Right? Here,
Imagine, so what we need to do is have the kids in our program from now. Jamaica is responsible for developing the football of Jamaicans, developing Jamaican footballers. It doesn't locally, yes, because if local football is improved, then it will give us a wider pool of players to pick from. And I'm not saying we should only pick from international players, because as I said, Kemar Lawrence, Andre Blake, Shemar Nicholson. Give me the next one, bro. I don't know, but those are players who
bro,
regardless.
there's a big elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And before we accept the caller, there's a big elephant in the room and we need to address it, bro.
Yeah.
The Jamaicans outside of Jamaica are just better than the ones inside of the league in Jamaica. That's just a fact. They have better environments to train.
Mm-hmm.
They have access to better development, to better nutrition. They're in football academies from them at toddler. Like,
Yeah, bro. And
it's just
even
better,
so, we still have Jamaicans who manage to defy the odds. As I say, Andre Blake is better than Dylan Barnes, who probably play football, who probably in the academy for a hot minute. You get me? I say, Shamar Nicholson is one of our best forwards, and he's Jamaican, and he come from the local system. I have no problem with introducing those people. In fact, good. You get me? I say, but I don't love Shamar Nicholson more than I love Michael Antonio. Two of them are Jamaican team. You get me? I try to say, bro.
all right.
Maybe hear what the caller said.
All
Tell
right.
you, still wait for you to come talk your point.
All right. Jaja said, do you have a reason or you just say that? That are my point, Teddy Lee and Jaja. Do you have a reason to say that we are more important or we're more Jamaican? Or are you just saying that because of that you feel? You have to give me a reason. No.
Jaja said something right now before him said, and that said, just scrap youth football altogether. No, we build youth football in Jamaica so that we can have the likes of the Andre Blakes and the Kemar Lawrence and the Alvas Powells and the Shamar Nicholsons and the Leon Bailey, so on and so forth. Those are still going to be a part of the team. But if their counterparts in England or America are better, they are just better. But if they are better than their counterparts, then they are better. Because which foreign-based player can keep out Andre Blake out of the team, Rush?
Andre Blake is just the best Jamaican goalkeeper. Whether I'm born in Dylan Barnes born in England, and he's not better than Andre Blake. So we're not saying that people born in Jamaica don't have the ability to be better than the ones born outside.
We
We're
didn't say
just
they
saying,
will always be better. We say foreign players are better right now.
no, they are better right now. And there are reasons why the foreign players is better.
And
Base players are better.
even though the majority of foreign players are better, Rush, we still have the example.
Because
Which Englishman are gonna come dispossess Shamar Nichols? It not gonna happen.
who is the best reggae boy right now?
A Jamaican local player.
So we're not saying that people don't have the ability to be the best. We're just saying that the majority right now are better than the ones born inside of Jamaica. But welcome to the call, SG. What go on?
Yes. Good evening. Good evening. Big up all of your listeners, them, all of the people them in the comment section. More get into this thing as Rush should have said. I try to understand what the difference. Me myself, I try to understand it. Because from hear this thing from Ryan show, more big up Ryan and him Ryan FC.
Yeah.
From hear this Spanish the channel, it keep on bothering me. Because one of the things I want to point out to people is that each time Jamaica produce that one exceptional talent, is no longer in Jamaica.
Why?
Because him gone overseas. So right now we are going to put him in a system now where that talent that the league in Jamaica develop. You are going to put him in a system where we're going to quota system where him never ever probably possible ever again to play for Jamaica.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
You see how stupid it is? Whosoever come up with this? Because this is nothing but some body in the JFF. I don't know who it is or who I try come up with something. Them I try invent something. But I backwards them I go, not forward. It makes no sense to me. Somebody inside of the league, you just check out all of the talent them over the years. The Ricardo Fuller and the Ricardo Gardner. As soon as them come on the super talent, they come out of the Premier League, then go overseas. So we shall never have the talent. Stay here.
One second, sir. Mukoto. More respond to this comment. I'm glad to him say.
Which one?
This one. The youth will come play, get exposure international, their country of birth will come calling. And as I said before, Kida Taylor comes to play under 17. What's to stop him from playing in the Nations League 3 times? Absolutely nothing. You get what I'm trying to say, bro? There's nothing to stop us from picking him in our match day 23 and bringing him on with 5 minutes left to go in the game. There's nothing to stop him. And then you know where you do after that? Right back to unders. Right back to under 17. Right back to under 20. Continue growing our pipeline. They're playing for Jamaica. So, them say, their country of birth will come call and they will leave. England can't call if you play more than 3 times. And at that, I want to see England call Ethan Pinnock now. Ethan Pinnock can turn the best defender in the Premier League tomorrow. Oh, England will call him, Rush. Oh, how are they going to call him?
Analyze.
Yeah,
Analyze.
because
We wanted to call Wes Morgan. And I dare you. Call him up.
the next thing.
Call up Wes Morgan. After Wes Morgan became one of the best defenders in the Premier League, and England started to channel, we should have called up the youth. Call him. I dare you. Call him on the team.
The next thing here now talk on the program, which when I understand some people are the JFF whosoever come up with this.
Yes, that's the senior level. But even when he's playing, even a 16-year-old can still get a cameo at the senior level. If we have other Hutchinson or Kiddo Taylor Hart at 17 years old, they might play under 17. They might try help qualify for under 17.
Bro, but they're further than the seniors. We have all right. So a name being thrown out here is Omar Hutchinson, the Arsenal kid. Yeah. He was on the bench against Manchester United. Tell me one person inside of Jamaica right now we can sit on for an Arsenal bench. So the youth just better than most people here. Why are we afraid to accept that or feel like we are saying something bad?
And as I said, even if you come for the unders,
I want to understand some things, A lot of people that watch football, and listen to football don't understand football, Them see the excitement and the man a pile a man and salad a man and the whole thing about football. None of them do not understand football and realize that in Jamaican Premier League, 90% of the players them is, how would I call it? Them technical, them have too much flaws.
Yeah.
90% of them. So what you're trying to do is bring in those players inside of the national program to come learn how to control and pass the ball. You check the accuracy. Check the accuracy of the passing of the Premier League in a Jamaica. It is less than 50%. Those are the players who want to bring coming at the league to come develop. Are your club develop player, not the national side.
Yeah.
And anybody here say that.
The high school and the club.
That speed or Ricketts or Maxwell or anybody who said that the national program is there to develop and expose players. Those are dunce.
What you are going now? So we have somebody that is pro quota.
Yeah.
I want to hear from him. So Teddy Lee, you joined the stream. Good night, my boss.
Yeah, night. So as we say, yeah.
Big up for come on, so, you know, same way we love the support and the
yeah, man, we're there here, man. Yeah, so as I say, I have to do it quick and fast. But this is so alright. You say how can I be more Jamaican than the situation that you bring up?
Yeah. If me have a kid outside, if me have a kid right now in America, how am I more Jamaican than my kid?
Alright, so the wife would be American or Jamaican or what?
It no matter, the father Jamaican.
It would be American, the wife American. I'm gonna use the
wife is American.
Yeah.
So me, you know, we did have two Jamaican parents based in Jamaica. Of course, I got more Jamaican by birth, you know. I mean by two. We don't understand how we need to explain that. We have two Jamaican parents. No, I don't know. We have two Jamaican parents, and now my son have only me as a Jamaican parent with an American. What's like, you know, we need to get more technical, like say, all right, there cannot be more Jamaican by birth or something.
American. All right, I'll ask you a question, Teddy. Suppose you have two white European parents where them a backpack through the Caribbean and them end up, or water end up break and the upper Jewish end up of the U. What is your child?
Jamaican guy born out here.
Yeah, but he might grow up in a Europe.
But he's not a Jamaican parents.
What you say?
He's not a Jamaican parent.
And so you need to study the constitution and maybe what make a first one.
Once you have a
watch so yeah, but in Jamaica once and also once you're born in Jamaica,
we know
you're a citizen.
Right. What may I say? What make the person who born in Jamaica to two non-Jamaican parents more Jamaican or less Jamaican?
Out of
Jamaica with Jamaican parents. Like, explain that to me though.
They bring up some circumstance. What I try to say, the situation I bring up is two. What makes a Jamaican more Jamaican, you know, and I bring up a situation that I am a Jamaican and then you go overseas, go have a kid with someone who's maybe American. Mm-hmm. That's a circumstance. Some don't know like what you know. But anyways, I can use a circumstance where you so the parent born to two maybe white some person or black somebody, but they maybe Africans Europeans and etc. But them go school out here and do everything out here. So of course they are Jamaican. What you would say about that?
One second before I answer the question there, please. I have the question. I see typical Tyrell King asks Tyrell TV asks a question, and I say King, that's why the feudal society is no more. That's why there's no such term as a bastard child anymore. So feudalism ended centuries ago. So a king has a bastard child with a peasant opposed to a princess. We're not in a feudal society anymore. First of all, to address that. I know to address what you did say, Teddy. Repeat the question for me, please.
No, she can't show me off with the bastard child. No, I never see the comment there.
Hold on, I remember. Let me repeat it. He said that if a kid is born in Jamaica to non-Jamaican parents, but that kid went to school in Jamaica and do things inside of Jamaica, that somehow makes them more Jamaican or somehow makes them more important than somebody born outside of Jamaica. You explain, how are they not? Them go school here, even if they're not Jamaican parents. That's him ask.
All right, so I believe that person is still very, very much Jamaican. You know why? Based on the Constitution, once a person is naturalized and becomes a citizen by way of possessing a Jamaican passport, that's the one with the, what you call it, the pineapple them and the two arrowrock them and the crocodile.
The Quota farm.
Person is Jamaican. So he's just as much Jamaican as I am.
Exactly.
Bobby Reed is just as much a Jamaican as I am.
And your passport don't look no different.
None.
No, because this is where them are. I never want to go down the road.
So if Bobby Reid had the opportunity but if Bobby Reid had the opportunity to play for England, he would have played for England. What he would do? Cause him say he's not a Jamaican because he chose England.
Maybe we don't
You
know. We
pick
don't
your
know.
allegiance and you
No,
pick
the
your
man
allegiance.
born over there. Why?
No. Anyway, me no want. We not go down one road. We don't even think so. We should go down the road.
What do you
We
mean
are
by
talking about football and the purpose of what. If me I feel a football team, in my us use in general, I want the best 23 on my side.
Yeah.
And if you go national now, you know, so them have to have certain requisites, certain requirements to come in at the national program. As long as they fit that requirement.
Big up typical Tyrell here. I get what you say, bro. Big up. Yeah, continue what you say now.
As long as them fit that requirement, you want the best 23 inside of your team. You don't want 8 players coming in your team to come learn how to play football.
Yeah, so what people like me
that
and
make
say,
no sense to me.
yeah.
Sterling Jamaican, Teddy Lee, may I ask you a question? Is Raheem Sterling any more Jamaican than you or me?
Yeah, we don't know. Maybe. I don't.
No, Ryan Sterling,
he was born in Jamaica, so
he plays for England. Bobby Reid plays for Jamaica. Who is more Jamaican?
Where is it?
Who more Jamaican? Bobby Reid or Raheem Sterling?
Or who more English then?
Or who more English?
Who is more English?
Yeah.
Sterling or Bobby Reid?
Man, they use someone. Anyways,
bro,
the man is a Jamaican. He's a Jamaican. He maybe renounces. You have Americans and other people who renounce them citizens.
Sterling still have him Jamaican passport. He never renounce it. Why you say renounce it? When him come man, yes, Jamaican passport him use. He never renounce it.
Yeah, but I say some countries different. If you're going to politics, you have to renounce or whatever. Maybe football, football don't require that, you know.
Bro, the two man.
No. I use Raheem Sterling point. So if Raheem Sterling maybe was in Jamaica, he would be lost like many talents. The reason why we have a Raheem Sterling is that he go.
What about Shamar Nicholson? What about Andre Blake? Come
on. Yeah, you have one or few. No, you have a lot of Raheem Sterlings and Boza Nichols who are lost in the system. We're not supposed to know that, you know what I mean?
No,
I'm sure.
Young man, all right, hold on. Can I answer that?
Give me a second.
So whose fault is that?
Give me a second. SG, give me a second.
We blame coaching there. That's how we need to develop coaching and some other facility.
I have to mute them. We have to moderate. We have a next caller. We have to give them a chance, bro. Remember, we're inclusive, you know. I want to shut out nobody, you know.
Say no to the xenophobia. You know, everybody get fair shot.
Remember, we care. So, we are going to add JJ to the stream. And more hear what I have to say. So, we can discuss it. Because it's a reason we have. We're not argue, we're not get heated. It's a reason.
Yeah.
JJ, welcome to the program.
Yeah, man. Bless up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I see him, Judge, I see him. You see me?
Oh, right.
Yeah, man. Big up and now do a great job. So, bless up on that, yeah?
Enough respect.
All right. So, you hear me also now, brother. It's not a matter of having a quota system per se, right? But if we bring in and overrun the thing with all these foreign players, right? How will the local youths get exposure via the national team? You understand what I say? Because I remember when we go on Youth World Cup 1 year and Keith Kelly go over there and him get him look a break there, so right? Now you gotta have these foreign-based players or foreign players, non-Jamaican, let's call it that, right? And like I mentioned earlier, them have a way better than the youth them will have to a certain degree as far as facilities and, you know, the type of training with them get, so on and so forth, right? But then you have a local youth that is very talented, right? And if him not getting to the national team, he might be stagnated because him not going to get for gunner if he expose himself. How we are going to export local talent then from Jamaica if them can't go up on the international level and show them skills if we are going to bring in 20 man from Arsenal and Manchester United and Chelsea just because. So we always have to have a little space to infuse some of the local players. I'm not saying for ban the the overseas players, right? But we have to preserve the local talent and make sure so we have a way for them getting to the national team as well.
Jaja, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you want the best eligible 23 to represent Jamaica, or you want some of the best, or you want some of the best and some that lives in Jamaica? Which do you want? Do you want to win a World Cup, or you want boss youths?
At any level. Come on, win under 17 World Cup too. And under 20 World Cup.
Make him answer. I want to know if you want the best 23 that has a Jamaican passport, or you want take some from Jamaica, take some from overseas, and wherever we get to get.
Oh man, all right. Obviously, we want to win. We have to win, right? Obviously, right? But it's a two-headed dragon, brother. See? So if you're gonna say, all right, we just want to win, so forget everything locally then.
The national team you talk about,
Yeah, brother. Yeah,
the JFF
but
have a responsibility to develop Jamaican football. The national team doesn't.
agreed, brother. Right? But at the end of the day, you can't tell me, say, we don't have talent that is as good as overseas players. But if the first choice I always be, I could look over Manchester United for who have Jamaican background, and I could look over Chelsea, and I could look over Arsenal. Then the youth, them are going to get stagnated. Them not have a rich national team.
All right, pause. Joe Mar, moderate. May I do some administrative work here? So, moderate this one. Katarock just joined. So, see if
all right. I'm going to add Katarock to the panel. As me go and talk to them three people at first. You see me? The fact is, Jaja, the fact is, we're not saying we're giving English people first choice, because that is madness. I'm saying we're giving the best people first choice. I'm saying that every single age group, I want the best 23, right? Keep in mind, the national team is supposed to be for the best at the age group. You think that England just has said, all right, we're just going to put that youth there from a League 2 academy in under 17s just so we can develop him? No. Them under 17s are going to be the best 23 English players under 17, correct? And them under 20s are going to be the best 23 English people under 20, so on and so forth. The academies are responsible for developing and exposing the players. So Cavaliers need to get them stuff together so they can get players overseas, right? Waterhouse need for that. We see Phoenix already doing it, where they're getting players overseas without having to play them in the national team. And after you get them overseas, then they make national team. That's all I say, Judge.
We agree on we want the best players at all times, right? But I don't want this thing backfire, because at the youth level, it's kind of sensitive, right? So my fear also is you're bringing in a bunch of foreign players. And me want to say earlier, yeah man, just cap them and them cap tied. Yeah, but it will live in a more sophisticated times now in a way. You know, think these agents and these handlers understand that. And at the end of the day, Jamaica them second or third choice, depending on who them have to play.
Well,
and if them get good enough to the point where them realize, oh, you know, so I can make the English team. The people are not so fool for making a cap tie them youths.
Let me respond to that.
Bro, give me a second, bro. Because we have to do all of this same way. All right, so here me I go do. I go take off a couple people off of the stream. But I go in the background same way, so I can add them back. But 2 new people just joined. I want to hear them a second.
Bless up, man. Go and do the thing. We'll go and watch the program.
Bless up, General. May I go and listen?
All right, big up. I respond to Jaja first. Jaja, you see, if we call up a 17-year-old and we look upon him and we tell him, say, yo, we're going to give you your long-awaited national debut because you want to be here, and then look upon him and say, him don't want to play for the senior team, then him don't play for Jamaica. Simple, because him don't want to be here. You get me? I try to say, but if he wants to be here, then he's going to play for the. So I'm not say, we take players, even if they don't want to be here, you have to want to play for Jamaica, right? So if you come at 17 and as a 17-year-old, me at 17 get the chance to play senior football for Jamaica, I'm going to jump on that as fast as possible because I'm here to play for Jamaica. At Jamaica, I play for. And if you look at him and say, oh no, I just want to play unders, then you just can't make back the team, and it's that simple. Because I mean, your heart really isn't here. You get me? I said.
Yeah. One more question before me jump off. Michael Antonio, right? I'm not thinking regret making the choice to play for Jamaica, given him current form.
I forgot to ask him that. He say he regret it.
He always going to say that, of course.
All right, Michael Antonio. Mikel Antonio would not make the England squad, no matter the form him depend. You have so many strikers ahead of him.
He
And
would have probably get, no, but he would have probably get a cap tie. That's the messed up thing.
probably would get a cap tie and can't play for Jamaica after that. But watch out. Let's see something. You have Isaac Hayden and the Ivan Tonys that are well aware of their Jamaican heritage and eligibility. They are well aware. But they're not interested in playing for Jamaica. You think me want them in the team? You think me as if I run down Ivan Toney and if I run down Isaac Hayden?
And don't get wrong, if Isaac Hayden change his mind and him show me a good attitude, then fine.
Come.
But me now go and say, oh please, Isaac Hayden come play for the country. You get me? I say? If Isaac Hayden say, yo, I want to play for Jamaica and I'm truly making a commitment, then fine, you get me? I say?
Jamaica. JJ, before you go, bro, one Jamaica. Whether you're born on the island or not, one Jamaica, bro. You have to,
man, I agree, man. But, you know, we just don't want the youth, then we have to get left out, you know. But go and do a great job, still. Bless up on yourself here.
All right.
Moderator didn't want Jada to run off, you know, because I run. I really had a couple of questions. So good night to the panelists and the viewers.
The people them want to see your face in the Katarock.
Katarock,
yeah. No, man. It was medical time. But they just still jump on and say to you. So what I wanted to ask is a couple of things that I had a question and then a couple of myths. The first is that because you allow Jamaicans holding a passport, making them fully Jamaican with their citizenship, but who happen to live in the United Kingdom, to join an under 17 or under 20 team, somehow some ghetto youth with talent are get fight out and now go bust in life and won't be able to feed his family. That's a myth. Because the truth of the matter is, since 2001, there's only been one UK-born player at the youth level, right? Which I think is Joel Grant. And all the others, if you add them up, more than 100, if you add up the 23, more than 200 players. How many? Less than 5? Also have gone on to any major league? Kemarat, Anderlecht. I mean, well, Shamar now but Shamar wasn't a big striker at the youth level.
No, Shamar wasn't never big.
No, so the development has to happen at your club, and when you are fit and ready, you come international. I don't see Gareth Southgate walking around England, going to Hull City and going, yeah, mate, here's a nice blonde hair blue lad. You can't control the ball. You can't pass the ball over 10 yards. And you can't kick a ball inside the 6-yard box. But we're going to call you to play for England because you're going to get better. That's not how it works. When you come to the national team, you are supposed to be the finished product at your level. Certainly the senior team is supposed to be the finished product because there's no time to teach you football. But at the youth level, you are supposed to be that diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
That all the attributes are there. So it is trying to fit square pegs in round holes. And the great fear that I say this and that, and I'm going to make a talk, is that this has nothing to do with development. This is about greed and grabbing money, hoping for this mythical unicorn transfer, $30 million to Aston Villa from, I don't know, Portmore United or Cavalier. It's not going to happen. It can't happen for Shamar to move for £9 million. Shamar had to look at the steps Shamar had to take. He had at least 4 clubs, NC, Dombele, another club in Slovenia, then Belgium, before he got a move to a top-tier league. So, for me, it's quite simple. And what I want to ask Jada is, who are these foreigners who are playing in the national teams? Because if they are foreigners playing in the national team, Jamaica must be reported to FIFA because that's cheating. Because the only people I see playing there are blue passport holding Jamaicans. So I don't know who these foreigners are. Maybe you can, maybe the Virgin with Joy or somebody can enlighten me as to who these foreigners are.
Yeah, man, because if the
Alright.
foreigners are play for the country for real, I mean, eligible.
Alright.
The JFF they get struck. That's a great point.
Tevin Campbell. Before we go back to SG, Tevin Campbell, welcome to the program, bro.
Yeah, man, big up. Big up
What
yourself
on?
like Katarock and SG, JMR and Rush. You hear me have to say, you know? Just come on it quick for just make a little say still. You know? What me have to say, you know, it look like a business thing that I try to run with the national team. And that me I try to say, any man who want break in a national team supposed to do good. I want overseas club. The local club them now have a good quality. Overseas, you have to get the good quality.
Yeah.
I'm tired to see my team I lose, you know. But I'm nearly balling, you know. When we see we couldn't make it work up, you know. What do you know? I'm tired to see them, I think, you know. You hear me, I tell you?
Thanks, bro.
So, you can't bring in such people. Is what I say. But you have an idea? Look, just for your example, what Katarock say, you know. Shamar Nichols say, you know. He never play schoolboy football. He make the transition to Boys Town, from Boys Town to Southern League. Then he reach a something like Belgium, no? And them thing they want to see. You can't use the national team. I mean, hear the youth company program and say, when I hear them say about overseas, you cannot bring in too much overseas baller. See, if I check this stat, if I check Brazil, the top team them in international football. When I check them team, only 2 local ballers on them team. Everybody else overseas a player.
Facts.
And that them for understand and know. You have to go overseas for the quality them. Wrong am I right?
Good
No,
talk.
you never say a more right thing, boss.
You're very right.
That
But
I
want to ask you another question, SG. You ever wonder why not one person player who was born in Jamaica and who plays in the English League has been invited to play for Jamaica?
Repeat
Say that again, Katarock.
You ever wondered why not one player who is Jamaican born left Jamaica when they were young and went to live in England, play professionally in the Premier League, Championship, League One, anything, has ever been called to play for Jamaica?
How about Ricardo Gardner?
No, man, Ricardo Gardner was it before. The only player is really Daniel Johnson.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's him.
Technically, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Apart from that, everyone else, including man who, you know, so it's not about development because I'm a player's born in Jamaica. So this is not about where you're born. Right? Because if that, then Jamil Matt, Jordan Barrick, Rolanda Aarons, Giovanni Brown, the list goes, Nathan Ferguson, Junior Murray, the list goes on, right? Of like a young youth, a goalkeeper at Leicester, born in Jamaica, kind of Carl Daly, all of them would have been included in a pool. Because they certainly, if you are playing in the championship in England, how do we justify calling a retired player from a dancehall studio? Because if you're saying reserve the thing for only man we're born in Jamaica. So it shows you that this is not about where you're born. This is about which club in Jamaica you are affiliated to. That's the real dark secret.
Yeah.
SG, your time.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, man, make a great point about Brazil side a while ago. About if you see any of the players them from Brazil locally, and all of the international team them worldwide, which one of them you see put a cap or a quota on them team? France. No, If you're not playing in the top 5 league in the world, you cannot make France team.
That should be the quota.
That should be the quota. If you want a quota,
that's what the kind of quota we like.
you have to put something in place to motivate these players in our local league. Want to reach somewhere. You cannot give them. In playing in the national side is a privilege, you know.
Yeah, man.
You cannot give a player that cannot control. Me say, I want to check. Me say it again. Check the league and the passing ratio inside our local league and see what it is like. You're going to bring in a player, see a coach, or have 5 days with him to come to expose him to him. Will never. Him not going to go anywhere. Because if you're not good, you're just not good. You have to be good from your club in order to be exposed to the national side, not the national side to expose the club.
Literally.
Yeah.
So SG, I wanted to say something to you, because you have to touch on France. It goes even further than that, you know. France says you have to be starting.
Start, exactly.
80%.
France look at Olivier Giroud and say, hey, what, you score a wood if I go so, you know. But you see that sit down on the bench at Chelsea, something.
You have to get the move, bro.
You better lift up and find somebody go play and start, else no.
You can't come. So
You
that's
understand, right?
You know
so
what
it's not even be playing at the bench. Look here. I worry about our football because I think we just live in, I'm going to borrow the term from my good friend JD, IMAX it, in a delusion.
Yes, sir.
I watch Aston Villa play out a 0-0 draw with Leicester. I'm probably going to do a video on it. And I read the player ratings from the Birmingham media, right?
Yeah.
Leon Bailey, our star baller, poster boy,
Big up Tevin,
was rated as the worst player on the field. That's a 4 out of 10. And when the people then break down everything, including what happens for Jamaica, losing the ball in a dangerous area, failing to shoot and take a chance, a critical chance, while we overlook those things, those people don't. And what was ominous to me, and I worry because I'm wondering whether Leon is going to start another game for Aston Villa. I read there where the man said when Leon gave away a foul, in a very needless foul, after losing the ball in a dangerous area, and allowed Leicester to get a free kick. He fouled James Maddison, I think it is, if I remember the thing I read. And he said Steven Gerrard shook his head for some expletive and turned and walk around. Now, when your coach does that, you know, it means that there's going to be some discussion in the dressing room when the game finish. So, getting to the Premier League is one thing for a player, you know. Being able to perform week in, week out over 38 matches is a different argument.
Yeah, man, I must say up and running just says something. If we give 7 spots to JPL players, they won't have to work hard enough to develop their game. Because them just no set, them are go just getting a national team just because there are 7 JPL players. Katarock, you know, I go as far.
Before you continue, let's be fair to Liam Bailey. He had a poor game, but he did play 90 minutes and subs were made. So I wouldn't say he was the worst player on the pitch, but he did have a bad game. Just finna beat him.
Let's
carry on.
No, I'm saying, you know, I am just reading from the Birmingham Post because sometimes we have to listen and read from those who are impartial and dispassionate. Yeah. When we are looking at the Jamaican baller. You know what the term, one of the local papers said, $30 million flop. Right? We pay $30 million for a player and he can't play 2-3 games. Those are the kinds of things. They don't have no affinity to you. They don't care. Say you come from Marvally or Rona Mona. That's Phoenix, wherever. That doesn't matter to them. They pay $30 million for a player. They want goals. Yeah. They want crosses. They want assists.
And don't get me wrong, Katarock, though he has a bad game, I still genuinely do believe Liam Bailey is Jamaica's best player. I'm not going to divert from that point. What I will say is, I don't believe that. As they talk about France football and them quota system, I genuinely do believe that there's an exception, one in Richard King. I can't think of another. I don't believe that anybody from our 23 should be locally based. I genuinely don't.
We saw the best striker, and not to be too harsh on him. We saw the
Okay, we had two top strikers on the JPL in the last window.
Yeah.
Daniel Green and Bygrave.
Mm-hmm.
How many shots on target did they put together between the two of them?
As
Over
I said,
3 matches.
Both of them came and they looked ordinary. Less than.
Daniel Green looked less than ordinary.
Yeah, Daniel Green wasn't ready. And
at least that's not for right, boy. You can see some trying in him, man. But that's what we pick a man to do. Come try on the field.
You know what, Katarock, the theme that I've been hearing perpetually is the national team is a medium to expose these players. And it's one of the most infuriating things that I hear on a regular basis. It drives me insane. The national team is to expose players. You not make me sick more than that in a Katarock.
Because it makes those people that is saying these things don't really understand what the national side is all about. As they say, it's a monetary gain or benefit to some people or person in the JFF. Cannot be nothing else, because this makes no sense. Absolutely nonsense.
SG and Rush, I want to ask a question.
Yeah,
there was a time in England, and I speak about England because I grew up there and I follow English football, right? I can't talk to you about MLS or anything that I don't know, right? That much. But English football, I know. There was a time in England where if you were not playing at the top, what they call the big six, you couldn't be in the team and people would get upset. Yeah. Manchester United, not even Manchester City you could be playing for. Arsenal, Man U, Liverpool.
Yeah.
You couldn't get in the team. Them time Leeds were at a top 5 club. Who at Man City could get a game? When Man City players started to get a game, I can tell you the player, it was Richard Dunn, a big, tall central defender.
Yeah, no.
And when Richard Dunn come in there, and Richard Dunn looked like a lump.
No, seriously.
Years before another Manchester City player could come in there.
Yeah,
years. Because they said that you had to be at a certain standard. If you could not dominate the league, how are you going to dominate the national? Even when people felt, and I think Rio Ferdinand did an article recently, that Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard can't play in the same midfield. And have them playing there instead of finding accompanying players is what made England not be its best. Because he said as a central defender, the word he used was carnage. Because the two of them are not the best defensively. But so strict was that rule. It's Gareth Southgate that has come up, because Southgate came from Aston Villa. And he is the person that has opened up now and start select man from about Crystal Palace. You think you could play for Crystal Palace and get a cap? Before Gareth Southgate, it would have been unheard of. Southampton, I can think of only Matt Letizia. And you had to be special. So, there are players in Jamaica, and the truth is, you have to be, the word that I'm looking for is special. You have to be a special talent. Because what happens to a player in an academy in the Premier League is that you are exposed to UEFA pro license coaching from your wake up till you go to your bed from age 5, 6. Anthony Grant joined under 7s at Chelsea. So for 20 years, you exposed to A license coaching or pro license coaching, medical facilities, nutrition, best physios, best masseuse, best dietitian, the best vitamins, the best supplements, the best weights room, the best swimming, water therapy, all manner. When some man will play, I said to him, yes, I had a concern, boy, I'm a cousin and about come here flap, I'm up the age. But when I sat and thought, I was like, everything that he had been trained about was for that moment in Mexico. At altitude for the first time, his body did not break down over 88 minutes.
Yeah.
Look at the difference. When our players went to Canada in cold temperature, everybody shut down.
Yeah, man, we saw it.
Like old car. So you're not built that way. Your body not developed. Your muscles, the muscle memory, all of those things go into what makes an elite player. And I would disagree with you. I think the best player bar none for Jamaica is Ethan Pinnock. The best player bar none.
That's not a bad show, but we want to push the discussion. That's a good
Push
show.
it. Push it.
That's a very good show. We want to push the discussion in that direction right now. Why, and I raise the concern, why are we not glad? Why are we not happy that Jamaica has spread her wings so far and wide across the world that we are able to tap into our Jamaicans that live outside of Jamaica? Why are we shunning them? Why are we not happy about this? I want everybody on the panel. Thank you. Craig Butler, welcome to the show, my boss. SG, you can start. Why are we not happy about this? Why are we not glad to Jamaica so powerful and influential that to have people in England?
You see, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, it is always a privilege to have the best set of players playing on the national side. And I'm going to show you something. I hear Katarock says something about that special player on the national side. And as soon as that special player presents itself, what happened to that special player? Him gone overseas, don't it?
Yeah.
The Ricardo Fuller, the Ricardo Gardner, you name them. And then if you send those players when them come up special in our Premier League and them gone overseas, you know what you do with them now? You put those players in a possibility that they may never make the national side because they in that top 8 in the quota system.
Yeah.
It's the Premier League here in Jamaica that developed that player. When you send him overseas, now you're making possible not eligible for the side because of the stupidity.
Yeah. No, but we see it because the likes of I'm not even going to go to the English players that have that are only tied to Jamaica by heritage. We have countless players playing overseas that had they been in the Jamaica Premier League, they would have absolutely dominated. Such as the likes of, for example, Kaim Paris. Kaim Paris played in Jamaica, right? When would I do to the JPL? You get what I say, bro? And because he isn't in the JPL, based on the new quote-unquote quota system that is established by Mr. Speed and his team, Kaim Paris won't ever get a chance to get a look in. And people like Daniel Green and Nicholas Nelson will get selected over there. Where have to Mr. Butler?
Didn't Kaim Paris play in Jamaica though?
Yeah, he did play in Jamaica, but because he isn't in Jamaica now and they want to expose the JPL, that's the issue.
No. The question is,
yeah,
did he play in Jamaica?
He did,
Yeah.
and he was a standout in Jamaica. He was a promising player in Jamaica.
He was not a standout, he was promising.
Right.
So he didn't look that much better than the Jamaicans that were playing. It wasn't like a Ronaldo tearing down the league. He was just a normal player like everybody else. The fact that a player may be playing overseas and dominating a league does not necessarily mean that that player is better than what's here. At the same time, I am not in any shape or form in support of the quota system because madness that them are.
Yeah.
Straight man. That is just the usual shortcut way of trying to look like they are supporting development. When none of them are really doing nothing to do with development.
Facts.
Yeah? They're still recruiting. All of those clubs that is playing in the Premier League and those players that they push as young players that they're playing in the Premier League. How many of them actually have a youth system that actually developed those players from when they were 12 years old until they made it into the Premier League? And somebody play them teeth. You understand? And then they're pushing them to get them into the Premier League simply to try to get them seen with the hope of trying to make a money off a transfer. So it really is a money-making venture. Rather than putting in the work yourself, developing your player yourself,
Yeah.
seeking out opportunities and developing your marketing capability yourself, you get yourself in a position in the JFF through the definite conflict of interest in how you qualify for those positions. Because you have to be a club member to become a JFF president, vice president, head of chairman or committee treasurer or whatever. And then you put in a quota system to say you must get in the Premier League players in there, only to benefit yourselves.
Yep.
The truth of it is, what you need is a proper scouting system.
Here we go. Facts.
You
Yeah, man.
understand? Go look for the man them all over the world where them is and pick the best.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
They are just as Jamaican.
Just as Jamaicans, further to that. Don't take her out of there now. In my real associate that I'm preparing and training and if suppose in get through.
Yeah.
And whisper get through. And do get through. And the other youth, Dante don't can get through. What if they get through and they never play in the Premier League in Jamaica? Are those 4 players that you're going to force out because you need to put some little man in your club?
That's the point that I was making.
Show them a position.
That's the game we're playing. That's the game we're playing.
Exactly, that's what they're doing.
So,
and then they say Craig Butler is egotistical and this and that. I just call a spade for what it is, bro. You think I wouldn't like there Jamaica right now, cock up my foot on my boat on a Sunday with my friend them out at Maiden Cane and drink some I like rum and coke, VX. Yeah?
Rum and Coca-Cola.
Yeah, rum and
Coca-Cola. Rum and Coca-Cola.
I remember drink that virgin.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. And you think I wouldn't like to be out there now? I hear like my friend Kimani Robinson and I play with the children and my wife. I give them little kids, their kids grapes and enjoying the beach. Of course I would. But I'm in a hotel room, bathroom, because Dante in that room sleep, the outside sleeping. And I'm here in Spain doing my job, earning opportunities for my players, negotiating my ass off, and trying to earn my own. That's why the other day when somebody ramp with me and talk about say, me not qualifications or me not this or me not, I don't have any achievements in football. I have to show in my house. Because football pay for that. Blood, sweat and tears. My question is, Speed and his friend them who stand to gain by this quota system, what are they really doing to educate the coaches? Because this is where the problem is. Right after me have argument that them come to me asking me for qualifications from them who banned me. Or you can ban somebody, right? When you ban them from actually going to your courses. They achieve outside of you more than you ever could hope to achieve. And then they offer to help your national team put in a system. And you then turn around and say, well, show me your qualifications, which they know you cannot have from them. What they don't know is that I have it somewhere else.
Chime in the Katarock. Chime in Katarock. I saw you wanted to say something.
I want I know there's an ongoing impasse with Mr. Butler, Mr. Speed, and the JFF. And I think maybe at some point we will have to interestingly look at it, because I, for example, am feeling the brunt unknowingly that Mr. Butler is feeling for many years, when you know that Ryan LFC and Jay Taylor did a program that said that the reason why Anthony Grant was not called in the January window is because his cousin Katarock chat too much and called certain man name. No, I didn't realize that you'll be selected to a national team for anything other than your footballing ability, right? There's a lot happening that we have to question, but I want to say something about my view on the Phoenix thing. The 11 players for Cavalier in that March training camp. And I tell some people I'm a different person. You see, when I hold on for justice and I stop fighting, I get the truth and get it right. Somebody have to. Was the most cynical, the most obscene abuse of power and conflict of interest that I have seen. Now, you had players, for example, like who's starring now, and I give Dujon Whisper his credit because I heard that he excelled at the camp that they held.
Yeah.
But I want to pick out a player like Aldridge from Kingston Technical High, who I heard did very well. That those players who had been playing Manning Cup and therefore have some fitness and thing to them were just excluded from the eyes of the head coach. And that what really was a second training camp would be what you call like a for stepchildren.
Exactly.
Pick first.
Exactly.
Because the head coach's eyes was not there.
More importantly, Katarock, I will cut you. More importantly, it wasn't that the head coach's eyes weren't there. The people of Jamaica's eyes were not there.
But Mr.
You understand?
Butler, I have to agree with you. I have a major pass on the JFF, and I'm asking, how could you be holding trials in St. Thomas and in here, and there's no press release? So what? This is something done on the secret so that eyes cannot look at it and say, okay, these are the players. This person stood out. Where is the transparency? We hear after the fact. It's like almost like a Gestapo clandestine business. Go on.
Yeah.
When Simmons was here and the Reggae Boys did their parish tour, it was advertised like a dance, like a Stone Lover play. The massive come out, people come out to watch the St. Ann game, the St. Mary game, because All-Star, Trelawney All-Star, everybody's out. Because it's not somebody's personal fiefdom. These things are a national institution. And I'm going to do, I know I checked management, he came on the program, and I'm going to ask Mr. Butler here to give me his view. I heard this view when I said that I'm going to be taking this matter to several different halls of power until somebody here might cry that I was not born in Jamaica. I'm born to two Jamaican parents, and what is being done offends me. That anybody could say somebody's more Jamaican than me. I stood in a stadium of 80,000 in the Azteca with one Jamaican flag and refused to take down my flag and stand up to fight. And Raymond Anderson, vice president, had to walk across the field at halftime and say, "You would come out of the stand and come sit down on the bench." And I said, "You must be mad. So if one man can't hold up a Jamaican flag, then what the players playing for?" And then you say, "Oh, because you were not born on the island, somebody's more Jamaican than you." My quick point, Mr. Butler, is this. Why is there no transparency that allows the public to see exactly this process of recruitment?
Why you're asking a rhetorical question, or you want me to answer?
I would like your thought.
Go for it.
This thought, let me just say that the government can't do anything. Well, I heard my friend Manning's man wax on eloquently that this and that person can't do anything. But I read today from something called that the English government, right? Let me just say it quickly and let Mr. Butler come back in. Let me see here. The English government reveals plans to step in and reform English football, from everything to do with the women's football game, inequity in salaries, financial fair play, putting a test for directors and owners, an integrity test, improving corporate governance, removing conflict of interest, protecting clubs and their fans from unscrupulous owners and administrators. I'm reading here, the government commits to giving the fans a voice in the running of football in England.
Yeah, Katarock, but that's not the national team though, just for Quota. The government can't interfere with the national team.
Hold on, sir. Sir, this says football. The English FA.
Let me answer it.
Go ahead.
Before you go, Mr. Butler, people, there are 80 people watching this right now. I want this thing to be pushed far and wide. So can get the likes up. We're not gonna body up like Ryan. But like up if you
you can. That's one of the things that I like when you show. That you know that on that. So nobody started now. It will come. It will come, my friend. It will come. And I'll support your program. The truth of it is that FIFA has rules, and those rules are really to try and protect FIFA's sovereignty in the football. So say, for example, there is a rule that you can't take football matters to court. Yeah? By FIFA. It doesn't mean you can't take them to court. It means that there could possibly be sanctions. Yeah? Now, you know that's the reason why they banned me years ago? Because I took them to court. And the judge, Brian Sykes, who is now top in the Supreme Court, sided with me, agreed with everything I said. When the government can institute programs to clean up, they can't stop the government from doing anything it wants to do. And if the Ministry of Sport want to support Craig Butler and give Craig Butler some land to build an academy, they can. If they want to put in a body to support football or to ensure that there's no conflict of interest with a body watching, a watchdog body, they can. What they can do is push out the people who are in power now. What can and will happen is what happened in Trinidad. Eventually, if they don't stop and we keep speaking and we keep shouting on the rooftops, then FIFA will step in and take over the governance of Jamaica's football like they did with Trinidad, and set proper procedures in place and put in people from FIFA to run it until it clean up. That's what's happening in Trinidad right now as we're speaking of. Yeah? And someone who I know very well, who were speaking out about it for a long time, Brent Sancho, is now actually on FIFA, appointed by FIFA, and he's doing a lot of the work to help clean up over there. So the truth of it is that here's what happened. You see, when slavery was going on, Frederick Douglass, all of those people, Paul Bogle, all of those people that spoke out against slavery, they were seen as wrong or antagonists or people who should be shutting up their mouths because they were going against what the people in authority didn't like, what was right. And it was an animal farm, and it's a big part of life. From then till now, I'm very big history buff. Yeah. But I say all men are created equal, but some are created more equal than others. So all people involved in football are created equal. But then there are some who believe that they are more created more equal than others. In other words, they can do what they want. The biggest problem is, let's say if you see injustice and you do nothing or say nothing about it, then you're actually worse than the people who are actually doing the injustice. So while I may be the one who is suffering with Phoenix players being left out from day one, going all the way back to Kemar Reid, Kyle Butler, Kevin Atkinson, whatever, and Leon Bailey, because Leon just started playing what day. Leon was not a youth player, and all them want to try and claim that it's me keeping away from it. Anybody who knows me knows how much I love Jamaica. I was Jamaica's biggest sponsor in the 1998 World Cup campaign. Did you all know that?
No.
The biggest sponsor, Toshiba. The biggest sponsor. Peter Cargill and I played for Swallowfield FC together with Anthony Carbett, Richie Cook, Pat Cover McDonald, Dominic Spalding, Richie Sterling, the whole of them. Cephas, Mughead, Kim, the whole of them. It's not a little fair-skinned man from uptown who just decided to pick up football. I play ball my whole life. So I know the sufferings of our Jamaican footballers. And I know the recruitment policy. Did you know, let me give you an example, that Mark Mendel, you ever heard the name before, any of you guys? Mark Mendel was the first person to try to professionalize football in Jamaica. He paid his players. And do you know what the JFF did to him? They banned him and said that footballers are not supposed to be paid. Ban the man out. So today we have professional football all around. Everybody's paying players, even if it's a little bit. But without his sacrifice and without him taking the ban and everybody hating him, we wouldn't be here today. So people like Katarock that's speaking out and those who actually do the right. You see what I want you guys to do? You too, you're young.
Yeah.
Do not get caught up in trying to be play devil's advocate. In other words, good guy, bad guy to get your ratings. Speak about what is right all the time. You see, Ryan, I'll never go back in the show. Because while Ryan had Speed and the others telling lies, I had screenshots and videos sending to him and he refused to play them.
Coach, real quick, I want to publicly say this. Big up Ryan LFC. You get me? I say, close friend of the channel. First of all, but we are you get me? So we just got, as I said, the truth. That's all.
Exactly.
We just
And
want
that's why I'll be
information.
here at 4 o'clock in the morning with a 10 o'clock meeting. Yeah.
So you see, if you come and you say your truth, we are going to be a platform that will allow you to say as such. We're not going to promote.
I agree with you, no problem, but there's no such thing as my truth and your truth and the next man's truth. The truth is just the truth.
Truth is just the truth.
Yeah.
I think
so don't make no man tell you that. That's a little new age thing what people try to use to justify them injustice and tell a lie.
Yeah.
The
But
truth
it's true,
is just the truth. Leon Bailey was fought out of the national team by those people for the same reason why they're trying to put in this new quota system. Because they would not have made any money if Leon Bailey made it and transferred. That is the reason it was fought out. You get that point now?
Yeah, man, and that's a part of our job, you know.
That is the reason why Kyle, Sharky, the whole of them. That is the reason why the minute a player leave Phoenix and go to one of their clubs, he's in the national team.
But I want to have a comment for Mr.
Go
Butler, right? It's just my observation because obviously from time to time I watch these programs. Mr. Butler, my only critique of your presentations in the past would have been, I would like to hear you speak about a wider cross-section of players rather than solely the Phoenix players as examples, because they are examples of...
Of course, they're examples, but Katarock, what you have to understand is that my job, yeah, while I love Jamaica, right? You do something else for a living other than sit on this program here. And so do they. My job is to develop Phoenix players, market, and transfer them. That's my job. It doesn't mean that I cannot see good players all over. Yeah? The same kid, Siobhan Marsh, I took him up, took him to Europe, paid for him to stay 3 months in a hotel, took him to trials all over, and he was from Cavaliers Football Club, and I would not have made $1. But I did it because 1, I like the youth. 2, I believe that it would benefit Jamaica for him to get the opportunity. You understand? And 3, I have to do what I believe is right. Katarock, I see many young talents. The problem I have, and it is almost ludicrous if you look at it on the surface. On the surface. I was having a meeting with the technical director at Real Sociedad, and I was explaining to him one of the reasons why I don't want anyone to even speak to my players in Jamaica. Not even talk to them. Don't say hello. Leave them alone. It's very simple. He started to crack up when I told him. The training courses that they have in Jamaica for coaches are coached by the same people that have remained in Jamaica all these years and never had a training course in mainland Europe. Right? Now, when you're selling a player, is Europe you're trying to sell the player to? Now, if you don't know what your client is looking for, if you don't know how your client is preparing his players, how can you educate the Jamaican coaches to coach these players? You know how many, I don't see one Jamaican player, not one Jamaican player raised in Jamaica. And that's why I have a big problem with the quota system. I don't see one Jamaican player raised in Jamaica, coached by coaches other than the Phoenix organization, that has players that are totally competent with both feet, all the skill sets, understand all the systems, know how to play every position, and understands what to do in each position. I don't see none enough. Why? For the same reason that a man will say, look at you and say, boy, you're not raised, man, you're dragged up. Yeah? When you have a footballer, I think I saw a program the other day where Ryan was talking to Maxwell, and he admitted it, that they get he goes around and recruits the best young talents in Jamaica, and then he put them together and they play games for Cavaliers. Just imagine if you're playing for a club and you go there at 13, and all they do is come for you when it's match time, and you train and you play. Suppose you're the weak with your left foot. Suppose your vision is limited. Suppose you play scrimmage all your life, so your vision is limited to like one-touch passes. Suppose you can't make passes over distance. Suppose you don't know how to splice and spray a pass from one section of the field to the other one in the air. Right? Now, if you cannot do that, when you land in Europe, even if you get a contract and then don't see your weaknesses, when you do land in, the game is played at a different level now. People watch the tapes. So if you play a first match and then see a weakness, then we tap into it. You now need to look and see all the players that are playing. You see Messi, you may think Messi is left-footed enough, but make him have the ball and him right foot and see if he not use it. Make him have a right-footed shot and him have to take it and see if he don't do well with it.
Guarantee you Messi right foot better than every single player in Jamaica, right foot with a right footed or left footed. Guarantee.
No, when you look at players that are coming out of our academy, right? Suppose I have Dujon Richards, and Dujon Richards at 12 or 13 went to play for a different club, Cavaliers. You think Dujon Richards' right foot would be what it is like now? Because they're not going to make him do 100 push-up if him take the ball off him right foot and shoot with him left hand. At Phoenix, him going to do it. I am willing to lose while young to win when they get older. So I'm willing to lose a match with him trying with the weaker foot and kick it where I flux it and he develop that weaker foot than to win and have it on my belt that I win under 30, win under 40, win under 70. Yeah. And this is where the problems we have in Jamaica is. The level of the coaching is not where it's supposed to be.
And you know what, coach?
And then when you look for me and say to me, say, Craig, you're selfish or you only talk about your players, or give me your players then and I'll fix them for you.
And you know what, coach? This brings us to a point. First of all, Ryan LFC just come on the channel. Big up, Ryan. Thanks for tuning in.
I'm still not talking to him.
Well, Ryan there, and that's fine. But yeah, so coach, we talk about that, and Katarock, this is something that we want to wheel back in the conversation. We want to bring back around the conversation to where it was. SG, you can tune in, and next discussion again. Katarock, the next issue that we had, why we wanted to come and do this live today, is under 20 players. It's two-pronged. Under 20 players who are professionals are quote-unquote required to try out. And then the second prong is Jamaica fielding an under 20 team with players who aren't professional. Chime in on that. Let's hear what we have to say about it.
So I heard the madness. And what I think is that Mr. Speed and his technical committee are making it up as they go along. Now, in England, you have Dion Burton, who is an under 18 coach at an under 23 coach at West Bromwich Albion. You have Darren Moore at Sheffield Wednesday, who is a head coach. You have Jason Ewell at Charlton. You have Paul Hall at Queen's Park Rangers. Now you're telling me all these teams have to play each other because at the on the 18 level, it's not only a Premier League club; it's based on regionalized, right? That you can't say here is a list of players who I would like. You would have played against them twice for the season. Tell me if this player is good or not. And if Dion Burton says to you that Omari Hutchinson is the real deal at camp, what, and no disrespect to Coach Fuzzy, but what am I really say to you? No, he's not. So what I believe should have happened is when we had these international windows, we should have looked in England at the players who were interested or who we were interested in and say, hey, Dion Burton, up at West Bromwich, take 11 or 15 players for this 3 days or 5 days and let them play together and see what cream rise to the top. So you'd have built some chemistry. You don't have to pay no airfare. All you'd have to do is probably a hotel and pay something to the facilities. Set a Darren Moore, say another 15 up there, and get the youngsters playing with each other. And I am not saying that every player in England is better than every player in Jamaica. That would be nonsensical. But I'm saying to you, I take my own cousin and own Anthony Grant as an example. From age 7, you are developed. I know Craig spoke about weaker foot. Look at Grant, he used both feet. You can't tell that he's a right-footed player. He played on the right side of 2 CDM. When he came to Jamaica, Coach Whitmore put him on the left side. In Mexico, in rain, at altitude, in heat, that he don't know nothing about because the English league finishes come May when it's spring. But all that, when we talk to him, say all that he had been trained for all his life, everything that Jose Mourinho told him for 7 years, the game in Mexico, he said it was just like a light bulb come on. This is what I've been developed for, every muscle. He said at one point when he was moving, him don't know what he might do. He couldn't tell you, but the things were just there. That's a 34-year-old man who's, if you saw Granty when he was 24, it's a different kind of thing. But you have the muscle memory, you've been schooled, to read the game. That is what is missing. The players are not physically developed. My younger cousin, when I was with Sylvanie Bank Blake, right? When we used to watch the meal plan coming, he must eat 1 potato, 2 carrot, quarter of a chicken leg. That he must eat. Here are the supplements he must take. He has to weigh every day, measure him waist, measure him height once a week, send in a report. All of those things are what makes an elite player. Now remember, a lot of them fall by the wayside, But what I think Mr. Butler is trying to say is that the level of coaching in Jamaica is focused on winning at the youth level. Where if you look at the PL2, the Developmental League, and the Under 18 League in England, it's not so much winning. It is to develop players who can matriculate to your senior team so you don't have to spend $50 million, $30 million on a transfer. So they get...
Stick a pin. Because we have to include everybody. And before I allow Craig Butler to go, on this topic, I've said it already on one of the videos that we recorded. I feel like it is downright disrespectful. It is an insult to invite full-blown professionals to come and do an under-20 trial for Jamaica.
Bro, Rush, those guys.
It is a tactic to turn off the youth them so they won't.
Those
and
guys
don't want to play for Jamaica. It is a tactic.
Those guys are living in. Those guys are driving Audis and living in
professionals.
penthouses, right? First of all, people, I did telling us I was going to call the man for bad enough if you never like up the video and you never like it up. So no, right? I'm bad enough. People like up the video. You get me? So I did tell them you never believe me. But anyways, to that point, chime in now, SG, what do you think about them forcing under 20 professionals to try out, and even us entertaining the idea of traveling with an under 20 team with players who aren't professional? Talk to us about what you think about that, and then we'll go to Mr. Butler. So this is pressing and it bothers me.
100%. SG, you might mute, bro.
Okay. You hear me now?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I think it's Craig Butler here says something about the scouting. We need, while we are there talking about quota system and trying to use the national program to develop player, we need to have a scouting system in place. So when we look at a certain player, especially an under 20 player, between 17 to 20 year old, we can look at that player and know that player is ready for the under 20 program. You're not going to bring a Messi to Manchester City and trials because you say you know what Messi can do, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the stupidity we are talking about. You're going to bring a professional player in our unprofessional system to come try out. It makes no sense. You understand what I'm saying? So if you'd have proper scouting, instead of doing this way them do down here, put proper scouting in place so you can, as Katarock would say, talk to a Dean Burton or a Eugene or a Paul Hall and say, and if they can recommend a player, say, yes, this is the young man for the program. You don't need to have him here on trials.
Because he might work. He's
working.
Because
he's working. And you're going to bring him come get some man in computer play 3 months worth of football to come try out with these youth. It makes no sense.
All right. Great take. I'm saying Craig got the answer right now. Okay, I want that. Go ahead, my boss. You're muted.
I think you're muted. No, but I'm not muted. We can't hear you.
Can't hear, Craig.
Can't hear.
Not sure why. Technology try to fight out. Wait, let's see if you can jump out and join back in, Mr. Butler, because we're not sure why we're not here.
Not here, man.
Just take a fight out.
All right, while him sort it out.
But you speak on it.
There's something that SG said that's important about this. And I'm saying that these are the things that are done to frustrate players and then give you the narrative that players are not committed or don't want. Have you ever wondered why so many YouTubers report that player X is interested in Jamaica?
Yeah, I was just about to touch that point,
But when the JFF talk to them, it's like a man that said, yo, brother, that girl, Lisa Anna well wanted her dog. I talk to her. And every man that comes say, yo, Lisa Anna love Katarock. And when me go to somebody just walk up to her and say, hey, I'm gonna tell you something. Me not spend $1 go do your ear. We have beer and tie down for my kitchen and cook for me 3 times a day. Oh, you mean? And feed the puppy them. And then man say, so hold on, I should never get a talk. I know. Look at Kyle Walker Peters.
Mm-hmm. And they make the man them get the man too, bro.
I mean, I'm telling you, fundamentally, everybody in the YouTube thing know a man link him on Twitter and Instagram, and him say the same thing, just waiting for a call. When the call comes from the JFL, what is it that they're saying that turn off every single smaddy?
Hey, I was just about to touch on that, you know. What is it the JFF is doing up there? That's them killer player.
Let me tell you what it is, because I
Alright,
know.
let's hear what Craig Butler have to say about the matter, because it pressing. Go through, Mr. Butler.
I was instrumental in getting Mikel Antonio to commit to play for Jamaica. I helped with his passport, everything. So I know. No, but let me go back to what I was saying before. Like, it's important I don't miss this. Football is a team sport. Now, that's the first thing. Where we are is that we have to recruit players. Where we should be is that we should have a system of development in place that the whole country is doing, because there's no way on earth you're going to bring in players like Mikel Antonio or whatever on the week of the match and put them together and get anything more than a pickup game if they don't know the system you want to play. Now, the system is not the formation. It is who we are, what we do. What is our approach to the game? Yeah? And you need to develop that system in the players before they leave on professional contracts. So say, for example, Leon Whisper leaves Phoenix now, and he goes to Real Sociedad and he plays there. They have a different system entirely that they play. And he adapts because he's coachable and he learns. But Phoenix has a match in Jamaica. We call him back and he has 1 week to train. He will know exactly how we play, so it will fit in as if he never left. Players who are three football generations removed from Phoenix, like Leon. Leon comes back to Jamaica. Leon, it was as if he never left Phoenix because he understands the system. That is how they should put what they should have in place. So that when players from the diaspora come in, it is easier for 1, 2, 3, 4 players to come in and adapt to a system than to have the equivalent of a Tower of Babel, where you have 28 players that come in from 28 different systems being asked to play as a cohesive unit in less than a week.
Impossible.
This is why Belgium has been super successful. Brazil, super successful. Germany, Holland, Spain, they all have a national football identity that the whole of them play. I come here to Real Sociedad, and I tell you, I watched Real Sociedad versus Real Madrid a couple days ago. In Real Madrid, Barcelona a couple days ago. And you can see that they're being true to their genetics and identity. They are fighting. I watch the training. You know what the man then play, rondo? You know what rondo is? You guys know? Man in the middle, we call it. Yeah? You know how they play it? They kick the ball hard on each other, you know.
Yeah.
To test your ball control, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Because they want to develop that as part of their game. That no matter how hard they play, the ball will move. We have not identified. I've heard what you guys have said. I heard how you're speaking about the coaches now, Dion and all of those guys who are coaching in England. And that is good. That they should all be a part of the national scouting system. Yeah? And you could set one at one part of England, the other part, different areas, as you said. However, what is more important is that when they come here, they have something to fall into. Fuzzy, him just a start coaching national team. No, with 1 month to go before. Now, the other thing where you say where you shouldn't, why should you have players who are not professional playing under 20?
Yeah, that's the other problem.
Well, What about players who are in a professional environment like Phoenix that train every day, are playing against the Premier League teams out there and either beating them or driving them, and consistently sending players away? Remember, the people that you just spoke of are in charge of the U18, U19 teams in England, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right, Katarock? Okay. The winner of the U18, U19 last year, FA Cup in England, was Aston Villa. And the winner of the league was Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace was beaten by 5-0. And Aston Villa was beaten by 7-4 by Phoenix. All on tape, with the technical director coming on after and speaking and saying he loves our system, he loves how we play. You ever see that video yet?
Which one of the videos, coach?
Where Casey is thanking the technical director of Aston Villa for the opportunity to have played against them right after the game, and he's commenting on the system that we play.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Okay, now where we should have is a system that people who are born overseas can come and drop into and adapt to. Yeah?
Yeah.
And that has to come from a consistent, sustained developmental model that has been going on through the country. So in other words, that is what I had offered myself to the JFF. Nothing more. Because if you put me in charge of under 20 team, swear to you, I'll be a Phoenix man I can play. Straight up. Why? Because I already know that most of the players in Jamaica have been dragged up. They have not been given an opportunity to train every single day, to eat well every day, to stay off the street, to not be on the corner. They have not been given that opportunity. They're not in a, we have been shown this week Real Sociedad's Academy. And they're telling me how important the academy is, the meals, the housing, everything for the players. And I'm smiling to myself and saying, boy, my house when I have up at Oak Ridge there, which I've got the bag of 20 of you to I live there now. You know how much of my kids come from down south? How much of them come from Portmore, Arnett, Jonestown, all over the place? But they're secure. They're training every day. They're eating properly every day. They're being developed properly every day. They understand their system. Why is it that Jamaica cannot have 3 national teams in each age group? One, the first one you should have is the overseas-based players, right? Which include those playing in the Prem or playing all over the world. The second one you should have is those playing in the Premier League. And the third one you should have is those that are at a high level at the academy level. All 3 should come in 2 times. The first one, you can't bring them in until it's close to the time or because they're on contracts overseas. But the other 2, you need to prepare those other 2 to be able to step up to the level of those guys that are coming. So when you take a Green, and you put Green fair play with Leon Bailey, it's a difficult field. You understand? Not because the youth not good, but because the youth not properly prepared.
Excellent point.
You know? So the reality is the JFF and those who are coaching are doing an injustice to the players. I got a call that 5 of our players were selected to come in to the camp that they're starting tomorrow.
Breaking news, people.
The team camp. The team camp.
But hold on. It's not pretty. Because my response now is, those 5 players
Are working.
are on a flight.
Yeah. To get jobs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So it
So
can't
then
work.
5 players don't have the time to come sit down with you now. Because they're going now to a job. Yeah? But they are more than willing to come back and drop in as soon as possible. Yeah? Now, what you think is going to happen? 10 chances to 1 those players are going to be said that the players think they're better than Jamaica. So they don't show up at the camp then. So what should I have done? Said to Real Sociedad, listen up. Daniel Mitchell, Dante Peralta, Whisper Richards, and well, Buster is older. He's a year older, so he wouldn't be playing. Is not going to come to Real Sociedad and take up this opportunity that you're presenting because they need to go on a trial for the national under-20 in Jamaica. That's what I should say.
And to piggyback off that point, Craig, it applies to those 4
Across
players.
the board.
And it applies to all of the players who are
Across the board. Any player that you see that can come from England and come to a trial at this stage, remember, you know, Premier League go on right now, you know.
Yeah.
Any player that you can see that can come to Jamaica and go on a trial right now, he's not at a high level playing in England.
Because it's supposed to work. And that's the point that I was trying to you get back to the point is either like your players are going out to seek professional employment. The other players and Jamaica, correct me if I'm wrong, Katarock, can field a team with mostly professional players. Am I correct?
Under 20.
Under 20 at the youth level.
So this is boy, you know, no man has the monopoly over knowledge, right? And I see the world one way here, Mr. Butler see the world a different way. SG see the world a different way. But it's one thing in common. We all know say what the JFF going on with now and Mr. Speed carry on with. No matter which angle you look at the cube, we see this. So, as Mr. Butler said, outside of an international window, you cannot call contracted players because maybe people don't understand. Somebody explain it to me. What a release from a club means. It means the club temporarily releases that player from his existing contract and allows that player to then travel and enter onto the contract that they have with their national team. So the club at this stage, when you have injuries, when you have, for example, a Dane Scarlett at Tottenham Hotspur, who is a part of the senior team, the 23-man match day squad, who if Harry Kane or son, something, God forbid, happened to them, they have,
or Lucas Moore or somebody like that.
right?
Yeah.
They are not going to release them at the business end of a season. So it's farcical. And as Mr. Butler said, the truth is any player you're going to get now is just one that's probably a first-year graduate in and around the academy team, but not one that is being fully developed to the level that we would like to see them go. I did a video today, and in my research, I researched one day. Yesterday from 9 o'clock to start, I'm going to end at 5. Because I wanted to just see exactly how hard this thing is. I went to the doctor 2 times. Go to Starbucks, go drink, link one nice catty. All those things in the regular Jamaican day. Like, I know we don't really work.
Katarock, you need to left the coffee in a Katarock. It's not good for you.
Right? I'll wait and hear what the ladies say. But I was able to scout the entire Premier League 20 clubs. And I came up with 75 eligible players. When I did the video, I realized that 2 of them, Harvey Blair at Liverpool and another guy was, I think it's Cade Green, were older, right, by 1 day. they born December, little bit 2002. How hard is it for the JV? But what is happening, you know, is because the men are so conflicted. And I heard something and I wanted to put this out here because it shocked me. In the discussion that Mr. Butler had with Mr. Speed on Ryan LFC, they spoke about a game that was played between Phoenix and Cavalier that ended 2-2. And they asked Mr. Speed if he saw any player on Phoenix that would be good. So here's my thing. Mr. Speed shockingly said, when he's playing against him now look for the next set of players them is only team playing business with.
One of the most ridiculous things I've
Sorry
ever heard.
for cutting Katarock. Sorry for cutting Katarock.
I'm done. From
Yeah.
me for you to play AKA Katarock. That is like a policeman saying, yo, we see beer murder going over there, so but hear what? We see a man in my house, a thief too brief off of my line, so we go and deal with that. But you see the brother killing over there, so that is a cause of immediate resignation. That is what you call a dereliction of duty. The end of the day, yeah, he must be hoping at all time, looking for talent. So that was the shocking one. That was one. And the second one, and I'd like Mr. Butler to respond on SG. But two things shocked me. The other one was said eloquently, I do not pick the team. I have nothing to do with the selection of players to training squads. But Mr. Butler, could you send me a list of 6 names? To do what with? To use as toilet paper? If you don't have nothing to do with this selection, why are you collecting names?
All right, so
Let me add to that. Let me add to that.
Why WhatsApp Katarock asked me to tell you which has the 6 are the best I'm a 20 player from England.
you don't
Let me add
You
one.
don't pick the team.
More add
You
one
have
thing to
nothing
that.
to do with the team. I just end by saying, and I'll give you, Mr. Butler and SG, the senior men to me understand conflict of interest. There's a thing in Jamaica saying now for say 40.
Yeah.
There was an event called Bounty Sundays. It's still running. As a sound man, you go up Bounty Sunday and play one beanie man and see what happens to you.
Now if you say 40.
If not come and say 40 to you, just know. So if you don't take up 11 players from Cavalier come on one camp, even if you say, yo, take up it, that's a whole team. That's an entire team. At the time, the team was floundering in mid-table in the JPL. When we were told that, for example, it's current form that they're looking for. Jaden White was a walk from USA a big work.
Literally.
And I because I want to know what did Dennis Taylor do more than keep only 1 goal from going in against Serbia. Why he can't sit back the national team? Jaden, nice youth. But then all of a sudden, when we were there at the training, I said, what is man do at national training? In name of the pen of paper, he's not on the 23-man squad. I would just see the man that hang around the training. And next time I see the man for that playing in Canada.
Yeah, him dep on the roster.
How that this is the kind of things that one day, don't worry, because when I'm so Friday, I must stay. You just have to be right all the time. But I'm saying to the head of the technical committee, you've messed up now. And you have laid bare now for the world to see what those of us who have been crying in the wilderness have been saying. And I leave the other 2 gentlemen sometime.
All right,
Rush. So we have to say Rush.
Jamal, you were saying something though. What was it that you were saying?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that. I was going to say that me and SG would have been having a similar kind. It's as Katarock is as though you copy theme words. Because him look for me and him tell me, say, how as a coach, you now watch the other team. So imagine if Pep Guardiola was supposed to look and say, I have no idea who is Mohamed Salah. I don't care about Salah because Salah is not playing on my team. Pep Guardiola would lose his job with immediate effect.
But wait, let me ask you one more. Let me add something to that.
Yeah.
Your team won Premier League the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And you're playing against the other
On penalties.
team
On
at
penalties.
your home ground with your referee.
Yeah.
That the ref against them.
Mm-hmm.
And the score is 2-2. And you don't see no talent.
That is an indictment on the head coach because
Jomar.
By the way, the head coach.
More piggyback.
Well, I know the head coach is Mr. Speed.
Yeah, that's an indictment on Speed because you're not afraid to call name around here. That's an indictment on Mr. Speed, right?
Now, you're the head coach of a Premier League club. And by his own admission, he's the chairman of the technical committee. And what is his job? His job is to make recommendations for who gets a job as the coach. Is there, I mean, it don't register to you that 11 players, suppose Fuzzy or whoever it is that he put in place, don't take even 11 players. And Fuzzy lose. What is the man who makes the recommendation for whether the coach stay or goes going to do? He's going to recommend that he get fired because he never to pick the right players.
Yeah.
What happens if he picks his players
and inevitably lose?
And then lose?
Inevitably, you have to say that.
And then when lose, what he's going to do if them lose? Then he knows that the man who picked the coaches is going to recommend to give him more time because he needs time to work with the players. Because it's his players. So I say, anyway, look on it in a brethren. You know the good thing about me is, and I think I'm a little blessing to Jamaica. God has put me in a position where I do not depend on them.
Yeah.
So I can tell the truth. He has also put me in a position where if beer ghetto youth me help, uptown, downtown, inner city, left, right, and center. So you can't go to a bad man and tell himself to do Craig Butler nothing, because nah, do me nothing. Because no me I do. But all him cousin or him nephew in the car. So I'm kind of immune to them truck badness to me. I'm immune to them using financial means on me because you see years ago, it's when they banned me. This is what people don't know. I could not get a job in Jamaica, you know, because I was banned by the CASAFA and endorsed by the JFF. And they made it sound as if I did something unethical. You understand? So nobody now give me the work after I was GM for Toshiba and me a country manager for Audi. Couldn't get no work. And I'm mad because they're up and down the little ghetto youth them. And as me try coach them 2 days, or me try take them to a little club so they can get to some playing time. And then hear me over there, they might have banned the club or tell the club to make the boys leave. It's them type of ostracization you can go through. You know? So you have to understand how far and deep this goes. They would do anything to keep those Phoenix players out. Because what happens if by merit, because you ask me, and I tell you, yes, by merit, I have 11 players who are supposed to can play. Because if you have a team that goes to England and beat the FA Cup and League champions of England, there's no reason on God's earth why you should not be trying to call in those players into your national team. You get me? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Honestly, if it was Rudolph Speed's team, if it was Cavaliers that went to England and beat Aston Villa and beat Port Vale and beat Reading and beat Crystal Palace, would there be any doubt in Jamaica's mind? Richard King just gets signed by an agent, you know. And his world news, the man I try to make it, you know. And you guys look out at me and say, boy, my eye them wicked, I'm too wicked for go out for let that going after the kid. No, I'm just saying that it's not anything special. Because if that was the case, every player at Phoenix should have a big hurrah in the paper. 4 players from Phoenix are going to Real Sociedad, who is 6th in La Liga right now, and barely lose 1-0 couple days ago to Barcelona. 4 players are going there on test now. Wanna see it in the headlines in Jamaica?
No, but coach, besides that sports TV, we do our due diligence and we push that because that's the type of things that we want to see for Jamaica football.
Yeah, but is it in the Glean or the Observer?
That's a your report.
Is it on the you don't realize, you know?
Here is
A
where
large
Mr.
majority of the
Butler need
media,
to get beat
of the
back.
mainstream media. Listen.
Make him finish, Katarock, then you. Katarock, make him finish, then
You
you.
need a press secretary.
Hold on
You
now.
need to update the Phoenix website.
Katarock, let me done.
Clear profile there.
Katarock,
Yeah.
let me done. Phoenix have all that in place and more. The problem is, mainstream media has for many years been controlled by the JFF. You know? And how they control them is when trips are going out, they will carry one of them as media officer or something. You get me? So then just anything to do with Phoenix, just brush it over that way. You know much news come out and the man don't do it? You forget that Leon was in Belgium and Kyle were in Belgium. Kyle top scored the under 23 in Belgium and win the league. That not reach newspaper in Jamaica, no. Because it is more beneficial to try and hide those players that they wouldn't directly benefit from than to push it. So look here. Me have my axe to grind and me go sharp my axe. But what about all of those people, those kids in Jamaica that are bound to go to these clubs, or them the liquor man will develop and leave the liquor man will develop them, or them not gonna get in a national team? How many of those players, including Kaim Paris, if it's a Kaim Paris was always a Cavaliers?
Not at all. Kaim Paris the country youth. No, that can stack up the man to play.
Exactly. You know, you believe that Kaim Paris to stay with the man who did develop him in a country there? That he would actually have anybody to talk about him right now?
No.
Probably didn't tell her one of them school there, I think.
Suppose people say about you them Kemar read right now. But maturity wise and everything, you could have walked in a national team at Jamaica. Google it, Kemar read. I play for Floriana in Malta right now. And go back in them history. I used to say when they play the little Premier League, when they play with Sporting Central one time, at 2 game them call him Bagman. He scored 2 goals a game. Anytime he play. They wouldn't even consider looking at the player. Meanwhile, they might call schoolboy, they might call this and that because what? Him come from the club where the man who control the thing come from. You understand?
Yeah.
Understood. One thing I feel like more, I didn't want to say it, and Katarock is another thing that I feel like went under the rug and a lot of people didn't catch it. Mr. Speed also said that he doesn't recommend players to anybody yes, and he hasn't pushed any of his players. Like him not tell the coach to pick any of his players. But in the same breath, he's saying that he asked Craig to send a list of his players and he sent them into the JFF. Why would you send Craig players and not yours? And if you're sending Craig's, why wouldn't you also send a list of yours?
Posed earlier. I posed that question earlier, Rush.
Send a list of yours.
That is cock mouth kill cock.
Yeah, man. So the corruption.
You know what is the most painful thing for me? When Speed went on the media and said that I tried to sell him Phoenix.
Famous moment.
It was an embarrassing moment for me, you know. But you knew why I took off my shirt? I don't like tattoos. You don't see tattoo all over my hand and my foot or anything. There's one tattoo I have, you know. It's not of my daughter, my wife, my mother, my sister, my pussy, my dog, and my son name. It's a phoenix. And it is placed over my heart. So how can you go tell as egregious a lie as to say that I wanted to sell you Phoenix? You know many times the boys sat in that man's office, all of us go there and say, please beg it, just lift the ban. And say it's not 7 years into it, it's 6 years. Should I get a medal for that? You know how much it retarded Jamaica's football because I could not play my part out there?
The corruption is right.
I want to ask Mr. Butler a question.
All right.
And Mr. Butler, please don't pull a Rudolph Speed on me. Based on the matches that you played in England, can you tell me about 1 or 2 or 3 players from the opposing team that might be Jamaican, because you probably wouldn't know, who stood out to you that would be an asset to a national team if they were to pledge allegiance?
That were, remember, you know, they're going to end up have to pull a Rudolph Speed. You know why? Guess not. Super Katarock. Guess what? I did not go to England.
Yeah. Yeah, are you speaking, Mr. Butler?
Yeah, no, I didn't go to England. I did not go to England. I prepared my daughter from she was 3 years old. And she has grown with all of these players. And I prepared her because I remember somebody have cancer. And there was a point at which I thought I would be on the show today. I had several surgeries to try and alleviate the problem. And so I raised my daughter and my wife and Nicola Bicknell to go and manage a team. So Nikki and Shelley went as the managers and Casey as the junior manager. And the team was prepared and sent from here. And Travis Blagrove, who is my second who I raised up as a coach, went with them to England and coached a team. I sat here in my bed and just enjoyed the victories and the videos because I wasn't so well. So to tell you that I saw a player here or there that was good, I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is that Jadon Sancho's father, Sean Sancho, was at every single game. And I can also tell you that I have videotapes of the coaches of all of those clubs complimenting the team after the games. I have videos of the games themselves. So I'm not going to tell you in any shape or form that there are not players that are out there. Of course, there must be talent out there. What we need to be is all-encompassing. In that, we should be building this national under-20 team for the last 6 years. 6 years. They're supposed to know them one another.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go then and bringing them youth from them youth are 14, 15-year-old
That's the
in England.
we have.
So they get a chance to understand this is how we play, this is our system, this is how you can fit in. Nice to have you for the 2 weeks in the summer.
Yeah.
We'll see you next year. Come back again, my boy. Here's some work that we want you to work on while you're there.
Keep in contact with them virtually.
Yeah, your left foot not so good, some of them drill they want to do. These are some skill sets that we want you to utilize because we want to increase your skill level with the pace that you obviously genetically have. You're predisposed to. That is how Belgium did it in a brethren. You think so Belgium play the way they play or Spain play the way they play because they just pick out some man from all over the world and then just come play? No, you didn't hear what Leon said to you. Leon said that Tapa must use 72 man in the qualifier. Yeah? You know, all the qualifiers going up to the World Cup. 72 different players. Yeah? And Leon is saying, if every game you put a different set of men on the pitch, you will never get any team synergy. And the JFF wrote cease and desist. Gave him a cease and desist order. To which I responded, you have no contract with my client. So you cannot tell him to cease and desist. Which led to contracts coming for the players.
Yeah.
Yeah. So out of the stand that Leon took, it pushed the JFF to go in a certain direction. However, when you look at what is happening now in the region, it's almost like we're taking a step back again.
Yeah.
And the schoolboy that was brought into the national team, Pearson, they said they were picking only national team, Premier League players for that first squad, right? So, Pearson, how many Premier League games did he play at that point?
I think 2 or 3.
One. The kid from Katie, how many Premier League games did he play?
That's Aldridge.
Aldridge, not sure.
Yeah.
Aldridge in the first trial. Aldridge was not there in the first trial.
You sure about that? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And the reason that I can tell you he was because I got real pissed off. Because Katie played against Mona High School with Aldridge playing, right? And Mona High School beat Katie by 5-0. So the player, and I'm not being unbiased, I'm being objective. Yeah? The player did not help them defensively, and he did not help them offensively to score, right? So if when there is an offensive player or defensive player, it wouldn't matter because at either end he was not effective against Mona.
Coach, I think that was because they had the 2 centrals really tracking for the whole game, though. So
listen. If you put 2 central attract Leon Bailey, them gonna hold him in a money cup. If you put 2 central to track Whisper Richards, you think them gonna hold him in a money cup? Let me finish. I didn't have a problem with them calling him. What I had a problem with was them not calling any Mona players. I don't have a problem if you want to call the world, you know. Just don't leave out that set of youth that actually performing better. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't say that these guys over here are ordinary. That's why I didn't call them. Don't repeat the mistakes of the past. You know what it took to get Leon to say, all right, I'm going to play for Jamaica? After them doing what them doing years ago? Leon knows that I love my country and I've raised him to love his country more than anything else. When Liam was playing in Belgium, you know that every game there was a Jamaican flag in the stands? Do you know that after every game when he performed, he take up the Jamaican flag or he might do something for sure, big up Jamaica? But yet, they did not call him. I am not calling him because Craig Butler is arrogant and rude and non-compliant and don't work with them. That's the story you give. How about switch it to say, you don't call him because you're not going to get any of the transfer money. You don't call him because you didn't develop the player, so you're not going to get no credit for it. You don't call him because he don't play for your club. You don't call him because if he succeeds, then others who may want to make it in football would go the route of Phoenix. And what about if you call him eventually because you can no longer hide him and put him under the rug, the world knows? What about all those other players that the world don't know about?
To that point, I want to ask you a question, Katarock, because me, Rush, and obviously Mr. Butler agrees. Do you think that it is the biggest travesty that Leo Bell didn't play unders for Jamaica at any level? I think that might be one of the biggest travesties as it relates to Jamaican football. I want to hear your view on that particular take.
It was a disappointment. And I think had he come in at an earlier stage, he would have been more integrated into and have a more senior leadership role in the national team. And one day, these questions must be answered in some truth and reconciliation. There are a number of questions, but I think that was, travesty is a word, certainly unfair, unjust, and inexplicable.
Mm-hmm.
Inexplicable. That's pretty much like opening a Chinese restaurant, and then a man says, "Here comes Mr. Chin from Beijing," and you're saying, "No, I don't want him to cook in the kitchen because we are cooking Chinese food." But me I call Screechy from over L shop to come working at the kitchen. When Screechy can fry fish good, but Screechy really don't know nothing about Chinese food. So somebody will explain it one day.
Suppose Katarock. Suppose you knew. Suppose you were Leon Bailey's coach and manager, and you knew that there were 10 others that were not just good enough, but top level that would have helped your country's football, and they hid them away. What kind of fire you would have in your belly for them people? I could have, listen to what I say now. That have nothing to do with the youth them now. That could have helped your country's football.
Well, I understand the passion that you have, Mr. Butler.
You think it's passion? It's chagrin.
Right? And
I have a question.
When it comes to Jamaica, I'm an ultra and irrational at times.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, this is my 49th year on the planet. I'll be 50 in December. I just want to see my country win the World Cup. That's what I want to see. That's my dream. That's why I get up every day. You know, since we start this reggae boys thing, we turn a big Watley selector. You know, we go a party and then is it 2 hours before the party, we have put together my juggling. And I used to be consumed with music. Go and watch football from time to time. Now I'm consumed with football and go listen to music from time to time. If you ask me what the number one song in Jamaica is, I can't tell you. Or the number one song in the world. Right? But I want to say, we have all the, you know what the biggest, when I got hurt the most, when the really tears come to my eye? When it struck me that had Jamaica qualified, we would have ended up in the group with England. That's how the draw went. The CONCACAF country was that we could have been in the group against England. And we could have had that 94th minute penalty. And send England. You won't ever get that opportunity again. But however how long, because the stars don't line up like that. And I think while I know that, and I don't know the Phoenix players them intimately, right? So I don't speak about what I don't. Let me say to you, there is a right and there's a wrong. And there's some things that I remember when I was young, when I was your guys' age, you know what used to run the world? A man named F.W. de Klerk, Prime Minister of South Africa. And this man would wax on eloquently on how blacks can't govern themselves, and when they get into government, they're corrupt and they're gonna thief, and the Zulus are gonna kill the Africans and they die to death, and that's why a minority has to rule. I hear the same sort of things today. Listen, I grew up in England, I tell you. There are some black people in England living in a worse condition than people in Jamaica. I live in a thing called a housing estate where the elevators appear heroin needle and drug paraphernalia in the playground, and the lift now work and you have to walk up 21 floors because the lift now work. This narrative that we sell, that because you're in England, the streets are paved with gold and you don't need no opportunity, is a most egregious one. Because many of those youngsters, including myself, the system in England turn it back on you, make it difficult for you to transition. You see the best players, you have some youth where the roads just swallow them up. And the country, I knew one in Birmingham, he was a top scorer in the Birmingham high school league. It was another DJ's son. And I think he had scored 17 goals in the season and wanted to play for Jamaica. Same foolishness, and till it him have to pay for the try it. And come to Jamaica and then can't find the tryout. But what I want to end is what is going forward. And say, the JFF, there's so many avenues that they could have taken to prove that they are just. And I give an example. Coach Paula became the interim coach January. You put a camp together to say you're picking a team to go to Peru. Okay, you have to use all those players. You're picking a local camp in March. Listen to Russia and Jamaica. You have 12 Premier League clubs.
Yeah.
Mr. Butler is no indictment on you, right? But I'm see the 12 Premier League clubs. I said, Coach, give me your best player plus one other player that you played against in this team that you think is outstanding. That means each coach has 2 nominations.
Mm-hmm.
That would give you 24 players from the league.
Not necessarily.
Hold on.
Not necessarily 24.
Come on, one coach, 10 coach can nominate one man.
A subset in a Katarock. Remember we learned them thing in a set in high school.
If Butler said Rush and me say Rush, I said no, Rush get vote for already. Pick another one.
Well, all right, definitely.
And then you know would have had 25 other players. So you could have take up your whole air club and put it by your back and put it in there. But there was no attempt to be transparent. You see, I heard Mr. Speed wax on about he's in charge of policy. Mr. Speed don't know the first thing about policy. But look up a thing called the 2004 Youth Policy, National Youth Policy of Jamaica, see whose name is there as the author of it. Right? I know about policy. Policy, you have to involve the stakeholders. Policy is not something you make up in a year like a head. You have a broad consultation. That's how you get policy. So had you gone that route and said, okay, you could have even called Mr. Butler, all right, fine. With the under 20 thing, we know your academy, we know, I think,
More
What's his
pleasure.
name? The owner of our academy, Virtue, a little 2-year-old nephew go up there and start make them go up there and train. And he will say, okay, it still would not prevent you, but you are all 39 spot. And when you finish, some man in the national team, and the team, the World Cup done, we're not going nowhere. And this is how good these players are. Take a Busy Atkinson, who made the squad. With 80 minutes to go and everything done, we're not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere. And Coach Paul Hall had 2 additional substitutions he could have made out of the 5 and couldn't call up 2 men and give them a cap. That means that what he saw in the training didn't fill him with confidence. So I do my maths different. But we have tried, I know people have tried to do something different because what they're going to come when you tell about a player in and say, him having passport, like if it's not your job to get the passport, and by the way, it is your job.
It is your job.
It is your job. Actually,
Let's
if
speak
you're not too
about
busy, it is.
Laporte, who is French through and through. Like Laporte is as French as it gets, right? And all of a sudden, Laporte is playing for Spain, the snap of a finger. Because all he had to do was express just the slightest interest, and his passport will be given to him within hours, without a doubt, And as Mr. Laporte is French through and through. And all he had to do was express the slightest interest.
I read an article and I spoke about it on JD, and I say this again. The other policy that I want to say, Mr. Speed, that you have implemented is the policy that we only want player who want to play for we. You're famous now, you have the quota system, and you've implemented the we only want player who want to play for we, and you call it the commitment policy. Let's take England. Our players calling up Gareth Southgate saying, yo, hey mate, I'm at Burnley. I want to play for England, mate. I'm well committed. Can I come through? That's not how you pick a team.
Literally.
Not even when you have pick up side. You know why they use to say, yo, pick me. Yeah, pick me. That, not even a pick up game scrimmage, you pick a team like that. And I read an article where Gareth Southgate said when Wilfred Zaha made up his mind to play for Ivory Coast, he drove to a Crystal Palace away game and met with the player for 3 hours to convince him to remain in the England setup. 3 hours. And him said, boy, the damage had been done because they had been brought in and around and he felt that they'd done him wrong. But if England not have all the talent that they have, felt it necessary to talk 3 hours, the head coach himself, to an Ivory Coast international potentially, why we can't sit down and reason with? We don't have a prospectus. We don't have a introduction paraphernalia, a pamphlet, a video. This is Jamaica. This is what you're coming to represent. This is not like England when you go to the match and there's some bare old white woman in there. There's some young nice girl in a rear rider, and yeah man, and the weed smoking and stand and the reggae music. You know what Kevin Stewart said to me one minute? I said, "You say, yo, blood, it's really this music you guys play." Like he was in awe that is how a game looked like. And I'm just saying, we have not sold the program. We have not sold Jamaica to anybody. The only thing that we know is that once the JFF contact a player, it's like kryptonite to Superman. The player lose all interest.
Yes. And to that point, Katarock, could it be sabotage because of the same greed? We need the Jamaican Topies in the national team because Jamaican Topi can probably get picked up for 100,000. So that's why we need a Jamaican Topi in the team in comparison to I will reference on a Craig's players in comparison to a Daniel Mitchell, because if Daniel Mitchell is sold for 300,000, the head of the technical committee realizes he will not get anything. Or I will say we need a Jamaican Topi in the team as compared to a Wes Harding, because if a Wes Harding is in the team as central defender, there's nothing to gain from a Wes Harding. So could it be that we are, because Demarai Gray, like we know Demarai Gray wants to play for Jamaica. What's the hold up?
And I pose that to Craig. I'd assume that Campbell is familiar with Demarai Gray. They played together at Leverkusen. Craig, how is that one coming along since you helped? Who did he help? Mikel Antonio?
Yeah.
I don't think Gray really have any interest at that point much,
Yeah.
As far as I know, I don't know of any of him committing to Jamaica right now.
It's a passport story.
And I've seen signs, I've heard him say stuff like, yo, I want to get back to my roots, I love Jamaica, Jamaica is my place, I'm more than willing to get me. I said, we've heard an ongoing passport saga for the last numerous years. Even Paul Hall said he's in constant dialogue with the migrants, so on and so forth. Maybe Katarock can speak, can shed more light on that.
I have heard that the trail has gone cold. Just another Kyle Walker Peters. Just miss the whole game. Take up the phone, call me, tell me what you want me to do, because I don't want to come and play right back. I want to play central defense. Let me know. I don't want to come and play CDM. But the last time, this is the most serious one. And let me tell you how far it goes. Because see, it's okay when you're just talking about black people, But the GFF made one slight error. There were 3 Caucasian Jamaicans. Why did the GFF ever contact Emil Smith Rowe? When Emil, it's reported, said, anyone call me first?
After a man of the match performance.
I saw that live.
Whoever calls me first.
And that same day, he got an England call.
The
That
next
same day. The moment he
and
made it possible.
And at that point, I don't think Emil Smith Rowe warranted an English call up at that point. He played his way into the England team subsequent to that. But at that point, Emil Smith Rowe wasn't of the ilk to ascertain an English call up at that point. And I was early out in the season. But Gareth Southgate smelled the rat, bro.
Mm-hmm.
No, so I'll tell you what Gareth Southgate has done, and then I'm going to make SG come in. First of all, I think he sits down and watches these programs, right? Just sit and watch and just listen for names, or he has people who watch for him. So England used to have under 15, under 17.
Hey, can I stop you a second? 1 second.
Yeah.
Do you know that I have messages from Southgate and the technical director asking me to have Kyle and Leon sign with England and to get English passports for them and everything?
That's news.
When Jamaica
was
fighting, Jamaica was a fight against Kyle and Chipping.
How would they have been connected to England? Because as per FIFA rules, you have to have some sort of connection. What would be the connection that they would have?
No, you were in England. England was in the European Union at the time, no?
Yeah, but that's not it. You know that my grandparents are from England.
All right, there we go. All right, continue the story now, Mr. Butler.
Yeah, so call and email. I'm trying to remember his name. Remind me of the name of the technical director. He left now. Not the head of recruitment, Southgate, and the head of recruitment, the team manager. When they man, the message me about, you can hear about 10-page a WhatsApp message for the 2 players. And we didn't go. Hold it. That's one some of the reasons why me and Kyle can never really get back to father-son thing again.
Coach, a lot of people believe the Leon part. A lot of people are questioning the Kyle part in the chat.
Okay. I don't give up what they want to question. Me no business. I'm telling you how it was. At the time, Kyle was top scorer of Genk under 23. Hold on, man. Let me just show you something. Let us type in this. Kyle Butler, KRC Genk. Genk. No.
But yeah, man, why Mr. Butler? Because we can't have dead here, you get me? So, you know, as professional media personnel, you get me? So we try to keep it ticking over. People in the
I'll say to that, what they've done.
Look here now.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
You just have to Google it.
What Gareth Southgate has done now is before England had an under-20 team.
Dan, his first name was Dan. Dan Ashford. Dan, hold on.
You're not Google.
So let me finish up this point and I'll make Mr. Butler come in.
Yeah, man. Go
England
through.
are under 15, under 17, under 20, under 23. Those are the England squads, right? What Gareth saw, that would have given you what? Under 15, under 17, under 20, 4 times, let's say, 25-man squad. Right?
Dan Ashworth, yeah.
Okay. 4 times 25 is 100 players.
Yeah.
What Gareth Southgate has done in the recent time is England now have an under 13, under 14, under 15, under 16, under 17, under 18, under 19, under 20, under 21, under 22, under 23. The man create like 10 tiers of youth teams, which when you look at a 25-man squad, that's 250 players that he's able to dangle the carrot in front of. So you look at the England under 19. Who are called? Who are the strikers? Daniel Jefferson, who is Jamaican, Canadian, and England. Cameron Archer, Jamaican, Dane Scarlett, Jamaican and England. He's kept all the African youth them. You look and see if you don't see them in the setup. Just biding your time. England has seen you. Yeah, one day you'll become a tree lion.
Yeah. And to that point, you finished, Katarock?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, and I'm saying to that point because it's something that I was talking earlier before this got heated up or whatever. We can have players at unders level. We can have a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old who can play a Nations League game versus Suriname when we are up 3-0 with 5 minutes left. You know that a Nations League is an official game and it will count as an international cap. Slonina, Gaga Slonina, Chicago Fire goalkeeper, recently turned 17, of Polish descent, right? USA has called him up a few times. A goalkeeper, so caps aren't that easy to get, whatever. Poland.
Look, can you help me a second? Look here.
I will see where Craig Butler. Sorry, what?
No, pick.
Yeah, this.
Boy,
We translate that.
translate it for you, Craig.
Bluffton, the promises scarcity Genk near the quarterfinal with a win versus FC Denda. Yeah? You see whose picture is on it? It says Genk is Kyle Butler in the 34th minute and Paulo Sabak in the 58th minute scored for for Genk. See that?
Yeah, man, coach.
You see?
Yeah.
So at that time, yeah, when Kyle was doing that, England came for Leon and Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, when Kyle win the league, right? They now call Kyle for Jamaica. But when Tyreek Magee went to Oipen, yeah, and is in them under 21, and then don't win no league or nothing. Kyle top score the league and win the league. But yet Tyreek get called for Jamaica at that time. So the unfairness of selection continues to run. You understand that?
Yeah, man, and back to the back to the point I'm gonna make as it relates to Craig saying that they reached out to his boys, which is more than fathomable, seeing that Craig has relation to has English descent. More than fathomable. You get me? I said for sure I could see them. If Liam Bailey decided they would have kept Liam Bailey years ago. Without a doubt, England would have kept Liam Bailey. Right? Poland sent down a whole delegation to Chicago. I don't know if you heard about that. Poland sent down a whole delegation to Chicago to talk to Slonina. And now, essentially what we're seeing is America are contemplating just making Slonina start in the Nations League. Because as a 17-year-old goalkeeper, he's going to be one of the most outstanding goalkeepers. And I have no problem with America doing that. And Slonina is American, through and through, born and grown in America. He talk with an American accent. He just have a weird last name. You get what I'm trying to say? And Poland is trying their very, very best. Even though it's already been called up to America, Poland sent down a delegation of players to try and secure this young talent. Poland probably promised him the world. Then the Poland probably promised him the captain's armband for sure.
SG muted. SG muted. I'll make SG come in.
SG muted.
Yeah, you understand the difference with player have to show interest to the country rather than the country showing interest to the player. You see the difference? With the Jamaica situation, the player have to show say him interested for come to Jamaica.
Yeah.
As you say, hell with that, brother. You see something good you go feed. That's something know the world there. You are in the position to reach out to that player. As Katarock said, the player good at even understand nothing about your culture. Him good at even understand anything about your national team.
All right.
He good at not even sure say you interested in him either.
Yeah.
All right.
So he must sit him ass down and wait to see what I go on. So that's the difference with smart people.
SG, where you want YouTube strike where you are, Bridget?
With what?
No cursing from the channel, big boss.
So what you say a while ago? Remember what you say a while ago?
Jaman.
Yeah, Mr. Butler, what you say?
Put up what I just send you. And this is for all I look at idiot them. Talk about them doubt what me I say. You hear me not tell lie. Put it up.
But watching the Craig, Mr. Butler, people entitled for express
in a business. Put it up.
Send it.
Put it up. I said it already. Put it up.
Look on it and wow.
Put it up.
I am definitely going to show this. This is very interesting.
Put it up.
Well, no, Mr. Butler, with some respect, we're going to put it up, man. But yeah, we are read it, you get me? I say, well, look, and we like what we see.
All
And
right, my friend, just put it up now.
Yeah, man.
They're vetting it.
Don't bet it. Just put it up as it is.
It will not be edited. I can promise you that one.
Don't edit it. Just put it up.
There we go.
But yeah, as me say,
And this is for all of those people that like to question my integrity here.
As me say, Mr. Butler, as human beings, and I think as responsible human beings, it is our responsibility to question every and anybody's integrity.
I'm
Because
certain
my
that's
best
what the
friend-
Pharisees said about Jesus Christ when they were going to persecute him. Blessed is he that sees and believes, but more blessed is he that does not see and believe. You understand that part?
Yeah, I hear that, Craig. And as I said,
is it big enough for them to read?
Is there a way you can zoom it in, bro? All right, just scroll and go through it. But yeah, Mr. Butler, while Rush adjust that, it is our responsibility as people to question everything because
no, it is not.
People have a tendency to be led astray. So
no.
My father's integrity. I will ask my father questions to ensure his credibility and my best friend. So
that is wrong.
I'm not going to say they're idiots for one.
That is wrong.
Confirm.
Hey,
no, that is wrong.
Let's get to this now, man. Let's get to this. Because this is interesting, you know. So this is an email from Dan Ashworth. Yes.
Very interesting.
Please put on the date. What is the date of that email?
The date is on the 19th of February.
To that point, Miss But I really respect the fact that people are questioning the way to lick back people. Instead of calling them an idiot, just show them up by bringing this document.
No, I don't call him an idiot too, because if I never have this document, you know, he's a liar.
Good thing you have the document, because
people want to read this.
Yeah. Rush, narrate it, Rush. Read it, Rush.
All right, so as I said, this is an email from Dan Ashworth. You know, a powerful figure in the English setup back in the day. So he sent a message to Craig. Hi, Craig. Good to speak on the phone. As per our discussion, I am going to get Jane to liaison with you on getting passports for Leon and Kyle's grandfather to prove qualification for England. Jane can get the necessary documents from Craig ASAP, please. Now this, I shut up everybody when they have concerns or a question. Hands up go up.
Yep. And this is what I talk about, Mr. Butler.
What's the date?
February 19, 2018.
Incredible.
How old were they at that time?
Leon would have been 19, right?
And Kyle?
Would have been 18 going 19.
Yeah, and Kyle would have been 1 year younger.
17 and 18. It's early in the year, so yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. So
that was at the time. That was at a time when Jamaica did not call Leon for the national under 20 and did not call Kyle for the national under 17.
Craig, you know, if I did make this public, they would have called him ASAP.
My job is to do what is in the best interest of my players. At that time, I could not go and make an email from the English FA public. Not at that time. Now, Leon is committed to Jamaica and Kyle. So, it wouldn't matter at this point.
Right.
Wow. So, yeah, people, as I said,
I think the important thing to me is Jane. So, Mr. Speed, I hope you watch this program and see who gets passports.
Yo, Rush, we have goosebumps in Rush.
Yeah,
because this is some.
The email didn't say, thank you for your interest, Mr. Butler. To prove that Kyle and Leon are committed, they'll find on the grandfather paperwork. And when they finish, dig up an eagle and an A-stock.
We start out for them one.
We won't read it.
Wow.
That's how it's done internationally, mate.
Yeah, and as I said, Craig, I mean, Katarock, with
You
the
see what
police.
them do to my son?
It's a hip-hop saying that Biggie Small said, if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, man, no.
So you see what them do to my son and tell my son say I'm not good and him this and that and break him spirit until them break the relationship with me and my son. Only God will forgive you because I will not.
Yeah, this must have been a lot.
We chose Jamaica when Jamaica didn't choose us.
Facts.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Went to my bedroom.
All right,
So,
big up
my
to
last
Mr.
thing, I
Butler.
have one last thing for Craig, and I have to jump off.
Yeah.
Take it down now.
There are two players who are
Wait, one
team.
more thing.
Oh, okay, go
Don't
ahead.
use it again. Just destroy it now. That picture.
All right, yes, coach.
For sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, no problem. Talk to him now, Katarock, real quick.
There are two. I have a meeting, man. There are two players at Aston Villa. Three. Who are Leon's teammates. Who I think, if we want to go to a World Cup in 2026, it would be advantageous for them to come into the Jamaican program immediately.
Right away.
I'd ask you to ask your son, Leon, to be an ambassador. I call the names right now. Keenan Davis, who is on fire on loan at Nottingham Forest. Striker. Cameron Archer, striker, who's on loan at Preston North End.
How old?
Keenan Davis is 23, Cameron Archer is 20. And Jacob Ramsey, who plays in the midfield with Leon.
Good age.
Good players.
Jacob Ramsey not with the English, him don't get cap yet?
I don't
No, he
think
doesn't mean cap yet. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
cap yet. The
You know, we need to do the first though, guys. We need to clean up. We need to clean up our house before we invite in guests. That's the honest truth.
we might try to have to find a next house to just make them think that is our house. More time when they want.
No, we need to clean the house.
Rent
The
an
house.
Airbnb and go on like a my place.
Listen, if you have cockroaches eating off the counters and the table and you're cooking with shit, you cannot invite people to your house to come and eat. You need to clean up your house first. Because that's what we look like right now. Look at what I just showed you. And imagine what they did to Kyle. Imagine what it must have felt like knowing that you could have gone the other route. And you chose your country. You know what I said to those boys when all of this was going on? And I still say it. When you play for Jamaica, you're not playing for the JFF. You're playing for your little sister, your mother, your cousin. The man on the street was a big up Kyle and Chippy. You're playing for the people of Jamaica. Just imagine what it must have felt like when Tapper walked in and tell Kyle was the under-23 captain under Ducky. Throw him on the bench and bring in him friend Kevin Lambert and make him a play. Then I say Kevin Lambert from that again, you know. Oh. He not play USL anymore? Where am I now?
He's in America.
Playing where?
USL.
The truth of it is that too much corruption is in our football. You know how many players' parents took them away from Phoenix? The most painful one for me, painful, it's a painful, but I have to think about it, I'm a heart turning. Is a little youth by the name of Dominic James.
R.I.P.
Dominic James was developed at Phoenix, trained with Phoenix, working with Phoenix. He was one of our top midfielders. Had Dominic James not left, it would have been 4 that went to Europe and not 3. And I remember the first thing that they did with Leon, Kyle, and Sharky is give them a full medical when they went to Europe. And they test them after every game. The heart rate monitors, all of those things are being used. Dominic James left. He went to Harborview, Waterhouse, Harborview, whatever.
I
At the
played with
time,
Lily at Barbican.
and at the time, he was Harborview had a big influence on the JFF because they had committee members there too. Cut a long story short, Dominic died playing for Georges in Monaco. All of Phoenix went to his funeral. They screamed on the top of their lungs, the Phoenix can never die. The Phoenix leaves no man behind. Throughout the whole course of that thing, I begged to get that kid back. And I'll never, you see when you talk about, oh, just easy and back down and be diplomatic and all of them things there, it's pain like that that will not allow me to be diplomatic. I'm fiercely protective of my players. I don't want them to cur that talk to me with them. You understand? And I will not accept it. You ever stop to think why it is that I'm at a big club like Real Sociedad and I can take off my shirt in public and tell Speed Sam is a waste man, and I'm still at a big club like this speaking to them with my suit on every day? It ever registered to you yet? You think I'm the only one that knows? The whole world knows the corruption. It ever registered to you guys how I could have been banned in Jamaica, but was coaching in Austria, Belgium, Netherlands, Malta during that ban, and nobody have no problem with it? The reason is they don't respect you. They know what you're about. They know that you're corrupt. And they know that you're trying to hold back kids like Kyle and Leon to benefit yourselves, to push up your players who may not be competent and properly educated in football. Think about that. And then think about what we should do when we're talking about bringing in players from all over the world. Bringing them into what? To what? To what ends? To get them kept in Jamaica and then can't move and then fling them to the curb?
No, as I said, so I think that thing. So I am appealing to you, and I will see what happens. That those three youngsters, because let me tell you, and this is my last point, Jamar and Rush. When you talk about chemistry, what I think Jamaica needs to do is look at the clubs that have our philosophy and style of football, and recruit the players from there and not all about. So it makes no sense to go to Brentford and take Ethan Pinnock.
The big problem we have, Katarock, is that we don't have a style of football.
Well, I'm not that educated. Mr. Speed said I'm a Ray man. So, in my own Ray thinking, is that why wouldn't you take Dominic Thompson, Rico Henry, and Pinnock? Why wouldn't you just take the whole left side of Brentford's defense, who've been playing together, or take Mason Hill, Holgate, and Ben Godfrey, who've been playing together for a couple of years now? But I think that these players playing with Leon at Aston Villa, week in, week out, training day after day, they would develop some kind of synergy that I would hope could be replicated in the national team, which is why I highlighted Keenan Davis, Cameron Archer, and Jacob Ramsey. Ask Leon to be an ambassador. Even if they'll come, let them get their Jamaican passport. Be an ambassador. That's the leadership I would like to see from Leon. I think he has that influence. And the truth of the matter is, we all have to take a stand in our own little way.
That are the final grand soliloquy, Katarock. That's the final soliloquy from D. Katarock.
So that's me. If I go and talk about anything like Mr. Butler, I will have to talk what was done to Anthony Grant in these last two windows, and it's going to upset me.
And the Grant is a top player.
So next Sunday again, then
Maybe in the last, what I know about the last 3 games that were played, I wouldn't have called him because he's now 34, yeah. So he wouldn't be there in the next stanza.
No, he wouldn't be there in the next stanza. I think. Listen, why I raised the banner, right, is that he was at Swindon, one of the highest paid players at Swindon, and he was being benched because of his international commitments, lost his place. If you said to the player, look, you don't have any future in international football. You came, you did your thing, that's it. He would have remained at Swindon and just collect his money. But if you say to him, you need to be playing first team football, you make the man walk away from a club that was in the promotion discussion to go to the bottom club just so that he could get a contract that guaranteed him a starting place, because it's the international career that mattered to him. So you don't mess around with people like that. If you say to the man straight, look, big guy, you're 34, this thing is 2026, we don't think you're going to be a 38-year-old in 2025, 37 years old. We don't think that you're going to cut the mustard there. I'd be fine.
Have you thought about the fact that we have not transitioned our national team players into coaching positions properly?
No, we haven't.
We have not considered even taking those national team players and getting them proper badges and education in Europe. Why is it that we couldn't have taken a player like Grant? Because I think he played very well in that position. Why is it that we could not have looked at? We can try to get the badges and bring it into the coaching center. Setting up other stuff. But
He would have come in if he could, because he's always been asking, who are the youngsters here that I can pass on some of this knowledge to? I don't think he's ridiculous to know that he when playing national football till the day he died. But I don't think he always asks, so who which, and there was never that sort of thing in the setup that I thought that you had a player like Grant would come. He could develop some CDM, maybe a Kevin Isaacs or Joshua Anglin before he got into problem, and just pass on that, because he himself was mentored by Claude Makalele and Florent Malouda. He just didn't come like a football genius and know, oh yeah, when you get the ball, you turn your back, take the foul, just break up the game because the other team is having a flow and you don't want to give the other team the flow of the game. Many players come to Jamaica, you know, and when he was coming, them say, because they're sure they're going to like me, mate. Because, you know, my thing's different. My thing is park the bus. Mourinho told him you're the bus driver. Put the bus in park. Put the bus in park. Because you cannot lose a game where the other team does not score. Your job as a CDM is to protect the back line. Which in Jamaica we have a different view. We think that is to start the attack, and no. The number one job of a CDM is to protect that back line and ensure that nothing doesn't come through the middle. Break up the play and make the game as difficult and as uncomfortable as possible. There was no one to benefit, no one to learn, no opportunities to stay an extra day, hold a little CDM clinic with some youth. Those are the things we should be doing.
Let me tell you something. Let me interject. From Simoe's time in Jamaica, the JFF do not want a coach that they cannot use the way all them want to use it. They don't want that. Remember, Fitzroy Simpson did ask and more than one occasion publicly that you would like to help out in any way, shape, or form in the Jamaica program. Fitzroy Simpson, Dean Burton, all of these players has reached out to Jamaica, but Jamaica don't want somebody in there or the JFF. From Simoes left, come with the wheels. Simoes is not the greatest coach Jamaica have. He probably achieve a lot for us. But after football change in Jamaica, by you no longer having players where you can sit down for 3 months. That's the luxury Simoes having. Fitzroy Simpson, Paul, all them leave them club. Cause remember those times you didn't have FIFA data and stuff like that where you play. If I'm not lying, I think it's Jamaican back in '98. A lot of things changed because of the system that Simoes exploit the system to have these players together for 3 months leading up to the World Cup qualification.
Yeah, they went to Brazil.
Yeah, all over. Remember when these players when them finish qualifying and go back to them club, them man used to play forward and play right back because the club punished them, Remember, I don't know if you remember these things. Probably Craig can attest to this. So a lot of people after Simoes qualified this team to World Cup, everything is from there on coming up. It was all about aligning them pocket. For who those who in the JFF who those in the JFF who feel like them can go further up and do things. The interest of Jamaican football has gone under.
Yeah.
From '98 World Cup, the interest of Jamaican football is now moved from the players and the country to now as set up personnel in the organization who want to align them pockets.
Almost like an oligarchy, just a
Yeah.
reference.
There's only one
reference.
There's only one oligarch. And you don't have broke oligarch. Oligarch are broke.
Just think.
SG, I want to ask you something. The men have taken away everything that, and that's why I pointed to the discussion about the British government, the English government talking about English football, not only the club system, English football. The JFF, this current administration, I want to ask you, when you really think was going to World Cup and not have God at the center, why a pastor couldn't, since when pastor stopped praying?
Hey,
I mean,
I give up.
This man in I place, man are ordained preacher and their own student. And not even a little large prayer. I remember when SG, you remember when you were too young, the Sunday morning when we played Mexico, the game was 3 o'clock and the stadium ran from 9 a.m.
Yeah.
They had the church service, pure praise and worship, Grace Trillers, Sandra Brooks, up to 12 o'clock. And then 12 o'clock, you're out.
Dog, I just want to experience that, bro. That's all I want. If I get the chance to experience that, I can die tomorrow. I just want to experience that, bro. That's all I want.
That team that qualified for the World Cup in '98.
In years, Bounty Killer and Beanie Man could be in the same space at the same time. And pass Mike, because when I tell you, say, people come at the stadium with them little coal and them little coal stove and a cook.
Inside of the stadium.
Inside of the stadium. You have a cook early because they're in a standing room only. I want to just let you young men know. Feed them all 35,000.
And about 50 there.
Brother, if you sneeze, a man reach right yourself. You can't put back your head.
And not only inside, outside full too.
Outside full. People said there were 40,000 in the stadium. There were about 10,000 on the wall. And outside had probably another 30,000-40,000 people outside. People still walk to this day. I try to get in the stadium. I can't reach out now when I'm 25 years later.
All of the tunnels them full up.
Man come from country and walk from downtown to the stadium, brother. The country bus park. Walk, because them have more fear.
Oh,
Yeah, I just want a chance to experience that, you know.
You
People,
understand?
is that too much to ask? And we have the talent. I just want the chance to experience that. That's all I want.
Now the JFF has struggled to get 700 people in a stadium.
I tell you, man.
Back SG tell you, when training, when
Yeah.
Jamaica train, and this thing when you come run people out of stadium when training, you can run Jamaica out. Hardcore Jamaica. We know when to turn off the camera, when to just keep quiet and certain. But training was at Barbican. It was at Red Stripe first on Spanish Town Road. Red Stripe was a sponsor. And then it gave the Barbican football field because it used to just come down from Norbrook. But you used to have about 4,000, 5,000 people in the
People
grand
line up. I watch the man them a train.
train.
People when I hear them story, oh God, man, we deserve a like. Like we are carrying this kind of insight to you guys.
And you touch up the like button, man. I don't want the badness reaching. Okay. When ask anybody that live in Barbican if they could travel on East Kings House Road.
When training take place.
When training that take place. Man, I stand up in the East Kings House Road.
I want to qualify it.
No, I'm not.
First time we were 6-0 with the lose to Mexico. But people believed it was win, lose, or draw reggae boys. We had sponsor come out of our ears, Courts, Stewart, Sandals, Red Stripe. Everybody has sponsor a piece of the boys.
Remember Blacker was playing for, I think it's Colorado Fox. Getting a nice little piece of US. Cause yet Blacker did start. And sponsors pull Black Walter Boyd from his team and say, listen, we pay you. Come here, sir. Those were the things used to happen.
Jaja, you would. And
Each player did have a corporate sponsor.
Each one.
Each player have a corporate sponsor.
Right?
Everybody know this shirt Simo is on.
Jesus saves.
Jesus saved him white t-shirt and that him have on. It becomes unpopular shirt during the World Cup. Remember, probably you don't know. Joe Mara, my son. His mother, I don't really want footballing person. But I cannot leave out of the house and she not tag along behind me.
I remember
I cannot buy one ticket.
I'm born May 98 in the Katarock. So you know, it's around November 97, December 97, you know, say.
And 97 after the qualification. A little celebration.
No, man.
In there quite a few of the matches.
Baby, man. You're premature, baby.
In there quite a few of the matches.
Born May 98 and November 97, December 97, mother pregnant.
Yeah, man. So
remember me and the mother come. And you know the bus them normally come and stadium come park up. And then you go in at the we call him $250,000. And we go from early, me get a seat and make she sit down in a car. She pregnant with her big belly. And the driver put on some driving that's me have to get up and get serious and mad on him because he just look like the bus I go crash.
Pull out the knife, you know? Yeah.
You have to get mad on the driver and tell him, say, listen, man, we no bother with it. I still know the danger when me that got you, but just the fact that we don't have to do it for understand.
Oh, my chance, man. Need my chance.
Look here. I am telling you to this day, Jamaica has never seen another day like it. Shower man, comrade, everybody, straight man, lean man, everybody, it never matter. Tall, fat man with green arm, it no matter, you just cock up your nose and that's all. I remember the USA game we played. ESPN came and the JFF sell something. And ESPN come erect camera, big scaffolding for the camera right at half line and thing there. And man lift up the ESPN thing and just move it. And
Move
said
that.
can't work. They have to pack up. And ESPN, me tell you this, ESPN, if you know those cameramen, them probably retire now. When the man them are thing, the man said, officer, I got asthma. It's a lot of smoking in here. I would see the Rasta man just passing the chalice. I said, well, go clear your asthma. And the ESPN man goes, yeah, man, that was Jamaica. I want to give them little white rum and the thing and the whole crew. I think them filmed the match straight. Because by the time the white rum beat them, that was just Jamaica.
Good times.
That was what it meant. It meant the whole nation. You couldn't go anywhere. And now Jamaica have qualifiers and trials, and nobody knows where these things are.
Yeah.
And if you go them good, they turn you back.
They can't turn me back. But
There's the guy, the oligarch.
no, but I'm telling you, I'm serious about my thing. Then I grew up supporting Leeds, and I know what it means. People know the way they treat the hardcore fan. When me watch Leeds, the top man them in the Leeds firm called Leeds Service Crew. Them ticket come to them. Howard Kendall was the manager. The ticket come to them. Martin O'Neill. The ticket come to them. Because they understand what it means when those persons are there. It's like a omen, a sign. We have decimated our football down to just a transaction. You can't have something and don't have the love for the fans. Who are you doing this for? We are the number one stakeholders. Never been consulted. Never. You want to transfer something, but you can't transfer them. They're not transferring. They're not transferable.
It's not good, bro.
You hear how much man gone Europe. You hear when they come back. You know, Ajani Talbert is back. Never make it in the 4th division in Portugal. What's going on, bro? The real my boy, Mr. Hype, Fleming.
Yeah.
How much game him start?
No.
He not starting yet.
He's not done. Him reach a France, but France not reach a him. Because you have some bad African player that's away hungry, brother. From Cameroon and Cape Verde and them places, the Francophone.
The thing is, Katarock, and to piggyback off that point, if the player is good enough, for example, I think Richard King will make the next step. You have players like Shamar Nichols who definitely made the next step, right? There are a few of them. Alphas Powell, who went to the MLS, he made the next step. If the players are of the quality, without national program, they will make the next step.
Of course, it's not the national team that makes you.
It's not the national team that makes you.
Football.
If them good enough to make the next step, them are going to make the next step.
This is
That's what I believe. So you mentioned
the
Talbot, and then you compare him to Shamar Nicholson, both who got their chance in Europe. But one of them now is doing this, and the other one of them is doing that. You know what I'm trying to say? There's a reason. So it's not us, and it bring back to this point. Sorry, Dave. It's not us. It's not us saying, "Oh, we don't like Jamaican players," because Katarock, you are a strong proprietor of the dual nationals, the Jamaican who were born in England. Do you think that there should be a 23 without Shamar Nicholson in the team or Andre Blake?
Andre Blake, no, would be in my 23. I have different views on Shamar Nicholson, but I could see if he's in a 23-man squad. But if you're really picking the best players and you're really trying to put together a team, you have to just be special. It's not it's not some sort of entitlement. It's an honor and a gift, something you earn. The national earn them.
As a matter of fact, you are here to make the national team special. The national team is not there to make you special.
No, I couldn't put it myself better, Elder. I couldn't put it myself better. And the truth that we're saying is that if you look at that 98 World Cup team, even without the same sort of facilities or whatever they had, let me tell you what the team doesn't have now. Doesn't have heart.
Yeah.
Doesn't have heart. I have never seen a Jamaican national football team, any Jamaican team in any sport, quit on the field. And I saw Jamaica quit in Canada. Throw in the towel, no mass. Roberto Duran, you all tell about that fight. No mass, no mass, no mass. Oh, come on,
remember in 98, the first game in Mexico, players would have to be getting oxygen while playing. Go over there and take a sneak and take some oxygen and go back and do them duty.
So the heart is what was missing. Heart was missing. Man weren't ready to die.
And I think that comes from Simoes have a lot to do with how him project himself and build that confidence in the players, which was lacking. I think the coach that we have for this last round of World Cup, why we say Theodore.
No,
it was more like a done situation I saw here on the field. Me at the dance, so me dictate what take place, and me dictate who do what.
Right? Look here. Let me say this to you. Pagan, every sport, the ref, if you throw in the towel, the ref call off the fight. You can call off a match, the ref. I am telling you, Jamaica quit on its feet. We were not interested in playing any ball. We're done. The referee just had mercy. I don't know who told the ref. There was at least 5 minutes of extra time. Man was injured. We did substitutions, which is supposed to get 30 seconds for each substitution. So that was a minute and a half. We had an injury. We quit. After 80 something, we quit. Some man understand. When Jamaica qualified against Mexico, from the 80th minute, the game was finished. No ball a play. 11 man from Mexico, they enough for them half. And we are knocking ball around the back. Ole! Ole! Must about 50 pass make. And not one Mexican tackle. They gone through and we gone through. That was just it. So you can quit when you win, but we quit on our feet in Canada. Give up without a fight, a whimper, like a wet firecracker. And that's sad for the team. So I hope we find heart. I hope we find talent. And I hope we find the right players from around the world, including here in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Right? I hope that we understand that anywhere you are, you're a yard man. From China, Beijing. If you're there in Ukraine right now, you might be a dead yard man, but you're still a yard man. Right? And if you're there in Dubai, you might be a rich yard man, but you're still a yard man. Okay? Good. Just how it is. And that we cut out this nonsense about who is more Jamaican than who.
Yeah.
You know, that's an argument that Caucasian people tell you.
I don't really want to reach though. I don't like going at that who more than who and all of that, especially when it comes to sports and the football. I just want you to feel the best 23 available to the country. the best 23 available to the country. Take the politics, take the corruption, take the personal gain and start to think more about Jamaica and what is best for Jamaica. As we're going to continue spinning the wheel and going round and round and round and round and round and round and don't know where the end is and what the end product looks like.
J Currency said Katarock be hating on the young ones. Well, everybody knows that I have been speaking about Tyreek Jimenez. So tell me who's hating on the young ones. Told you I disagree with Mr. Butler. I have a lot of time for Aldridge. I think he's going to develop into a very decent midfielder. There's a midfielder from Happy Grove, Manraj. I hope he doesn't just fall through the cracks and that he finds himself at a Premier League club. So I have a time for youngsters, but I have time for good youngsters. Quality, capable youngsters, and I speak the truth because when you go out into the big bad world, man, just tell you as it is. If you want the hype up,
me say, the thing about it is that, and too much time.
Final say SG.
Yeah. And too much time in this Jamaican, this youth system we have in Jamaica, have it to say that these youth are too young, and the coaches them are coaching the Manning Cup team them. Start them only thing they're thinking about is winning rather than development. And until certain things change here, we're going to have some players leaving out at 19-year-old and only can use them left foot, them right foot, can't control a good ball, can't make a proper pass.
Read that.
But wait, watching up. All right, so SG, Katarock, big up on yourself, stop by now. And Katarock, don't make yourself a stranger because anytime we book up a stadium, anytime we forward and reason about football, always a done reasoning, you know? So, yeah, we're there every Sunday. We're there.
Don't afraid to be around Katarock when we have the big banner them though.
Let's put it at the vlog.
Katarock.
And take with themselves because they don't want that problem. But I think that I tell you, we know everything, man. I have a little piece of constitutional paper, man, and show the police and say, right.
Because Katarock, today I was asking you a question in your life. I don't think you got to me. Real quick about the height of the goalkeepers, because that's important.
The height of the goalkeepers, all of them are over 6'2".
Already at 15.
Yeah.
There we go. So thanks again, Katarock. Thanks again, SG. So me I rush to talk to people for like a 5 minute, but
where's the trial tomorrow? Where's the under 20 trial? Do you know the time?
God knows.
No clue. I think it's a camp. Like I think them calling the players now. So I think I'm not sure what the stage is at.
Craig would be the right man to ask that.
They should have a press release, but we don't know. But anyways, Katarock and SG.
All right. Take care.
Keep the peace in them, man. Stop the guns and them killing something. Nice.
We just
Judge, Katarock, that right. Like ice. But hold on, we have 144 people. Make sure everybody we are watching live right now, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
We need that. I would love that. So thanks for the support. This was a big live. Probably the most watched live so far. So I have to give thanks to that. It's a very productive discussion, bro. We talk about a lot. We can run over some of the highlights right now. Have a little chat and then we just cut. You see it?
Yeah, man, bro. As well, the people in there, because as I said, there's something more address. Somebody asked a question about Jamon Bartley. Jamon Bartley, I think he has a lot to work on. You know,
not ready yet.
Yeah, not ready. I'm promising collegiate. If you go to college route, I think that might be the best for Jamon Bartley. To be honest, great kid, great leader. College route, I think, would be good for him. But yeah, bro. So we touched on a lot of things now. We see the people that are left with fast, but we still have over 100 people that listen to right now. What was your biggest takeaway from all of this, dog?
My biggest takeaway have to be that Craig Butler email. Have to.
Oh, bro.
Have to be. And second favorite moment of the live was remembering the 98 campaign. And I must clip that video and post it tomorrow. Because people see that.
Real quick, people, just like in one message in the comments, just tell me about a memory when I have in the 98. I don't have any memories. When we qualified, I was in my mother's belly.
Not even the slightest memory. I don't even have the slightest memory of 1998.
But when you just real quick spam the comments with what when they have got your phone in mind, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, bro, it was a lot to unpack. And we talk about the quota system, and we see people who have knowledge about the thing. You get me? I say people who have knowledge about the thing. We see how them feel about this quota thing. We see that it's madness.
Yeah.
Like the point that I want to drive home, bro. The point that I want to drive home, dog, is not. I don't have an issue with Jamaican players because as I said, me see Jack after drive will have beat Alvas Powell. Sorry, me have to take my beating upon this. When Alvas Powell was playing good football, Alvas Powell was playing very good football, and he was the man for the job. Over the last couple of years, him drop off dramatically. But
Yeah.
Alvas Powell played over 50 games for Jamaica, and there was a reason for that.
And
Yeah,
he should be able to catch back himself. He's not an old man.
29. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But let's see. Kemar Lawrence, Baller. You get me? I say Andre Blake is the best that we have. Shamar Nicholas. I disagree with Katarock on that one. I don't believe there's a 23-man squad without Shamar Nicholas. And I do believe Shamar Nicholas could transition into England in either the Championship or the Premier League. I do
Leon
believe
Bailey.
Bro, do you see how Shamar Nicholas not going? You see him being
Can't stop score.
Shamar
Russia or
Nicholas
Belgium.
and OG, bro, and Leon Bailey, so on and so forth. So, yo, we love the talent who are quote unquote Jamaican born.
Oh, and perfect way to put it, bro. If the best 23 comes from Jamaica, is born and raised and developed in Jamaica, that's the 23 you want to see.
Literally.
If the best 23 is overseas, that's the best 23 you want to see. We don't care where them come from. One Jamaica people.
Nobody should get preference. And as it relates to the quota at unders, bro, the under 15 and under 17, I believe if we get them at a young age, we're more likely to keep them than trying to get them at a later age. You get me? I said we might lose some. That's a possibility. We might lose some, but we don't need all, because he will never have all 23 players from under 15 squad go on to represent the country nationally. It will never happen.
Facts.
You get me, I said, bro? So we just need three to transition. 3 outstanding ones to transition. Yo, I just believe we have good quality here, we have good quality abroad. They have the same passport as us, bro. We need to respect the passport. As people say, we need changes. But Rush, how? What's the change that we need? First of all, what we unpack today is that Rudolph speed. Like,
incompetent may be a word.
That is an understatement, bro. Incompetent is putting it best. Incompetent is a compliment to him. Like them drive home the fact where he was like, I don't see Phoenix players.
Yeah, we mentioned it in our review.
So, Calvert Bank, real quick. Yeah, UCF Guitar Mobile, their full scholarship. And we said that. We said the college road is the best road for him. No doubt Jamon Mobile is going to be a very good Division 1 player. And he can develop into a pro over the next 3 to 4 years.
But there's another step for him to take before that pro step.
Yeah, but definitely a full scholarship Division 1 player. Like me and Rush aren't on Jamon's level, and we were getting scholarship offers from Division 2 and Division. So definitely a Division 1 player for sure. But as it relates to that, bro, what did there? I forget what part.
Yeah, talk about the quota same way and speed.
Yeah, like how can you be a head coach and you say, yo, I'm not watching the opponents? You ever hear not like that yet, bro?
I mean, you're going out of your way to make a point that you don't need to make.
Bro, him kill himself right there, so. Because he must show him incompetent. Because I made the example earlier. If Pep Guardiola said him don't know nothing about Mo Salah, you ask Klopp about KDB. He's the best player in England. Right? That's what Klopp is going to say. You ask him about City. City is the best team in England. I have to watch all the City players.
Yeah.
You talk about what Mane did to Liverpool. You talk about what Manamina did to Liverpool. Van Dijk did to Liverpool. Where are they right now? This was because he might watch the players on the other team.
Yeah.
Right? That's what the job of a head coach. So you ask the technical area, say, oh, I'm not watching the other player on the other team. Madness, bro.
Yeah. That's just one of the things. Just one of the things that we discussed to the people. A lot. We spoke to some of the viewers, Teddy Lee, Jaja, Tevin Campbell, SG, Katarock, big up for passing through, and Craig Butler, big up for passing through. A lot of knowledge was shared today. A lot of interesting opinions and views were shared today. So, people, if you're watching back on the replay, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. And stay tuned. 118 people on this live today. So, I have to tell them. Tomorrow, we have another big live.
Yeah.
noon, we're going live.
How could we not have said this before, bro? We are laps, dog.
Yeah,
Talk to
yeah,
them
yeah.
and tell them.
Yes,
Who we
at
have?
12 at noon tomorrow, we'll be doing our episode 2 of our Getting to Know feature. We'll be talking to a reggae girl. You want to give them a name?
Of course, man. But people, if you don't watch my channel, you're not gonna know the name. If you don't
Yeah.
watch my videos, if you don't follow up on the IG, you're not gonna know the 2 words. Marla Sweatman. I think one of Jamaica's standout midfielders in the last window, and you know she's going to be giving us some of her time tomorrow. We'll try
Yes.
to break down heritage. We'll try to break down her personal life, you know, things she likes. And see him say, I bet it's Marla. You already know, bro. Marla set, man. Yeah, and we're gonna talk to her about football in general. So Marla is very busy. We've been trying to work this out for a long time. You know, Marla is a top baller in a team in Hungary. She give us some of her time and it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big.
Yeah,
Because
so
it's gonna really give you insight. Rush, it's gonna give you insight on the JFF from the woman's perspective.
Yeah.
We've never gotten such insight before. So
Yeah.
we're gonna ask her about the camp, we're gonna ask her about preparation, we're gonna ask her about Vin Blaine, we're gonna ask her about her past, about her future. You get me I said? Bro,
Dr. Joyful said this is one of the greatest show I ever watched on YouTube. Thanks for that, bro.
yeah,
You know,
man.
big compliment.
We try to cover all bases and go all in. So yeah, people tune in tomorrow at noon and make we see what Marlo has said. It'll go be good. Because when you know this or that, when you know where I can bring the questions, when you know where I can bring the proper interview, you get me I say? Rush, you have anything else to say to the people? Oh,
Either
the man.
just give them the mats now and make sure them subscribe and like the video and share the
man.
video.
So anybody who is here listening to us right now, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Please like before you go. And if you are subscribed, at the end of all of our videos, sometimes in the middle, we tell our subscribers to do this. We call it the math. If each one of our subscribers can get us 5 subscribers, do you know how many subscribers that will get us by the end of the day, people? So, without further ado, this was This or That Sports TV.
And they're out.
Thank you so much for joining.